It's been coming up a lot lately. The aspect of psychic attacks and energy vamping. First and foremost, tapping into a few key aspects when dealing with this perspective, you know what I'm saying? Is always understanding first and foremost that everything starts within and then manifests or plays out externally. So it all starts within. But we're gonna tap into just the wholeness. Took a few little notes from my own insights and experiences, and also in particular some perspectives coming from Teal Swan, and some perspectives coming from another. It was a TED talk I watched with a monk, but basically, again, like their sharing of insight, like kind of matched my experiences, and I even say just match because something could match something, in an unhealthy manner, but no, it was, I felt the alignment with it. One of the two key aspects to remember as well before we even get into, going through this is, again, one of the keys is always remembering, you know, the law of attraction, or not even say like because the law of attraction is not necessarily a universal law, but basically the law of, everything vibrates, in with that vibration. Let's see. I'll explain it from the. Well, basically, we'll just leave it from the perspective of uh, we attract our experience to ourselves. You know, again, like whenever we dealing with something, again, the reason why you manifest a certain situation is because you match that vibration or that frequency beforehand, and so it has to manifest. The laws of the universe is like your attracts a certain vibration, you know what I'm saying? So whatever I'm giving off inside my body, if I'm giving off the vibration of, oh man, things is going, oh, I'll never make it, I'll never be shit, you know what I'm saying? And that'll be what'll manifest, that I would never make it, I'll never be shit, or again, uh a being that's in alignment with understanding truth, you know what I'm saying, is gonna again line up with people, places, and things that line up with that truth. So first and foremost, again, we gotta take accountability into the situations that we attract or create. Because again, whatever's being created or attracted or manifested in our experience has to deal with us first and foremost before it has to deal with anybody else. You know what I'm saying? So, so removing external blame. But again, if it's happening in your realm, it's because you have made yourself a vibrational match to the attack. So that's another thing, is that if you experience anything that seems like you're being vamped of energy, you know what I'm saying, or under psychic attack, it's because you have made yourself a vibrational match to that attack. You know what I'm saying? You you're doing something that attracts that person, place, or thing that comes off as vamping your energy. You know what I'm saying? Because what it really is not necessarily a vamping of your energy, you know, uh, and we'll get into that aspect too, because we'll get into it. But first, you know what I'm saying, one of the things to take in is that energy cannot be destroyed nor created. So, how could we technically be drained? You know what I'm saying? How could something drain you if I'm tapped into an infinite source of energy? It will be a contradiction to say this person is draining me, or I'm being drained of energy. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, it cannot be created nor destroyed, you know. And then again, somebody draining me of energy, but oh, I'm so powerful and I'm tapped in. I'm one with source. I'm a powerful being, but you know, I'm continuously getting drained, you know what I'm saying? So again, looking at the perspective of energy cannot be destroyed nor created, you know what I'm saying? And with our experiences, the most that could happen is you feel like you're cut off from source energy, in that moment, but you're not actually, cut off from the energy, and that seems as if you're being drained. But we're gonna again get a little more into it now. From perspective of psychic attacks. And, when we look at the word, psych, you know what I'm saying? Like the root word of psych, it deals with spirit or human spirit or mind, in Latin. And then in Greek, it kind of stands for the same thing, the soul, the mind, the spirit. You know, Also within the Greek definition, it goes further to say it deals with one's life or invisible animating principle. You know what I'm saying? But that's the psych. You know what I'm saying? Or again, like psyche or psych. That's the definition of that root word. And give me a second, let me breathe, because I feel myself getting into piling up words as if I have to rush to present this, and I don't. So there's another perspective of energy vamping. If just now, as I caught myself, if I was to try to blame that on something outside of me, that's where it all starts at. It's like, oh, it's that voodoo spell that so and so might have did to me, or you know, once you start again, because another universal law is all is mind. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you believe to be true is what is created. So if you believe that so and so is depleting my energy and ooh, they taking my energy, then that's technically what's playing out, you know what I'm saying? Or at least the illusion of that playing out. Because again, you could never be drained of your energy technically, and that speaks to Reiki healing and Reiki work. You know what I'm saying? They're able to tap in and project these energies into your body because of practicing and understanding that you are connected to chi, to an infinite source of chi. You know what I'm saying? Like the only reason why we feel cut off is because we're dealing with a person, place, or thing that doesn't give us energy or doesn't, uh, bring forth some type of like, spark that really like gets us going. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, we'll get into the different types of people right quick. It seems like a perfect time. But you have two types of energy vamps. You got and let's not even use the word, because again, we're gonna as we get deeper, we're gonna realize like energy vamps, you know, are more so triggers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for whatever it's worth, energy vamp is something that you attracted. You know what I'm saying? And with as we discuss this, we're also going to again understand things from again accountable first and foremost. Because as I do this research, again I see like, all right, dang, in certain areas I've been a person that has been a trigger or a vamping energy. You know what I'm saying? And by I realize by doing this video again, it's shining a light. The less the less I could be able to again is a double-edged sword. By presenting this, it's helping myself first and foremost because I'll be able to understand to not vamp, others, to understand that technically, matter of fact, after this, no longer, understanding that there's no true dynamics of how energy truly operates and moves. You get a sense of protection out of that again, but we're going to continue. You got two types of energy vamps. You got a transient vamp, a person who is going through a difficult moment, but normally is, a uplifting person, you know. Like, so basically, a transient vamp would be like, a person who's always, on point with their energy, generates their own energy for the most part, you know what I'm saying? And they happen to be going through something that got, that has them feeling kind of down right now, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, imagine like your favorite occult teacher or inspirational person, a person that, and again, as we get technical, the word inspiration by definition, by English definition, actually still means to look outside yourself for the energy. But when I say inspiration or in spirit, I'm saying in spirit, inspiration, in spirit, inside, coming from inside you. You know what I'm saying? But again, a transient vamp is somebody who's going through something. So you come across that person, place, or thing that let's just say that person, normally they uplifting. Matter of fact, normally this person probably gives energy. You feel uplifted with this person's presence. Normally, but today it seems like they're in a funk or they're going through something. And when you're around them, you're gonna feel again what we call quote unquote drain, but it's not necessarily that you're drained. Because another thing I realized too is like, you're not being drained as much as you're just not simply being fed. It's almost like again you see like where it's just looking for energy, a mutual exchange of energy. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's looking for that, that energy exchange. You know what I'm saying? But again, you feel vamped because you're not feeling like something is being uplifted. You know what I'm saying? You just feel like you're not really getting nothing, in essence. But again, the transient vamp is the person that's going through something. So they come off as, low vibrational or negative, and quote unquote draining because they're just going through something in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Then you have inherent vamps. These are people who are always vamping, who are always, not uplifting, what I'm saying, throughout their lifetime, what I'm saying, they all is always, something wrong or, you know, basically again a energy depleting. And what it really is, again, they're not sucking you of any energy. They're just not uplifting, you know what I'm saying? And what it is, because another thing too, they're quote unquote draining, but who says you have to sit there and listen to them? Again, like it's you creating the experience by your principles or certain ways of thinking, that allow for that energy to be present in your realm, you know what I'm saying? So again, you know, uh, those are the two types. You got transient, you know what I'm saying? And you got inherent vamps, people who, and another form of understanding, again, and that would be like so in this situation, if we had to call something like, because even a inherent vamp, even a person who, is not uplifting and going through things, it's still nothing good or bad about them. That's just what it is with what they're going through. You know what I'm saying? They're neither good nor bad. You know what I'm saying? Because even if they're doing this deliberately, it's from a place of being sick. You know what I'm saying? It's from a place of dealing with disease and not a place of, alignment. So, with us having that understanding, it's like, all right, I understand that this person is sick. Instead of looking at them as bad, I'll just keep myself, from being around them. You know what I'm saying? Like, because again, you don't have to be on top of a lot of these peoples. And and when you do experience like a quote unquote energy vamping situation at a store or something of that nature, uh, it's still like where a person not like, could find like you could disengage, you know what I'm saying? Like and be like, oh well, let me continue walking. Let me, so you got that perspective. Also another sign of an inherent vamp would be somebody who's, not trying to grow. Like they're never trying to grow. When you share insights about growth, the spiritual growth, they never really take it in and not trying to listen. You spoke something about spiritual growth or not even hint, hint, wink, wink, like you were straightforward about, hey, this is how I operate, this is what I do, this is how I see energy. And then when you come back around, it's still like the same thing, and again, in that moment, bam, you allow for that situation to, or you put yourself back in that situation, you got to start realizing, like, all right, you're putting yourself in those situations, you know what I'm saying? Again, like, if you realize it, remove yourself, and again, and you start to see where it is about subconscious work, you know. because you subconsciously probably feel guilty for not helping them. So you let them vamp off of you. But again, so it's not necessarily them, it's you. You then allowed yourself to become, guilty, or, again, or have a certain mind frame that attracts these beings to you. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into another part. The three types of people, you know what I'm saying, that you may come across in your experiences. You know, you have people who are uplifting, where you feel charged up after a conversation with them. You know what I'm saying? After interaction with them, you feel uplifted. You feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I'm ready to go do some shit. You know what I'm saying? Go do some other shit. Then you got neutral people, in which neutral people could kind of somewhat fall into, you know, like if a person is super like looking for a vamp, looking for something, you know what I'm saying, to blame, or just, looking from that perspective, a neutral person could come off as vamping, you know what I'm saying? But a neutral person basically is where you feel the same or neutral after a conversation or interaction with them. So, you don't feel like it was like a drain, but you didn't feel uplifted. It was like, all right, that was, you know, what it was, or you know what I'm saying. But again, it was like a neutral, uh, neutral energy or feeling there. And then you got non-uplifting people. Non-uplifting people is people who you feel exhausted or drained after a conversation or interaction with. And again, realizing this starts within. You foremost, you'll have thoughts, you know what I'm saying, that what they do, it feels like you're being drained. Why? Because that thought is a perspective that's not allowing for energy to flow through a certain chakra, nadi, or meridian, aka feeling drained or pain, you know what I'm saying? But again, it starts within, you know what I'm saying? And then people, places, and things manifest as representations of these things, you know what I'm saying? So again, when you feel exhausted or drained after a conversation or interaction, you know, again, you were interacting with an aspect that again didn't give you nothing. Like again, it made you feel, worse. But again, it didn't make you feel worse. Where do emotions and feelings come from? They come from within you. You know what I'm saying? It's not projected like from outside a person and into you. You know what I'm saying? In that sense, because and let's just say this, because that's where it gets deeper too. Like if there is somebody that's spending that much time, or coming at you where they're deliberately trying to, again, like harm you on that level, you still have to, it's an inner work situation, because you're creating that situation, like you're aligning with a certain perspective that creates that situation. But we're gonna go deeper so it don't just sound like like anything. But also so spoke of the three types of people as far as like energetic exchange. You got uplifting people, neutral people, and not uplifting people. Then you got the two types of energy vamps. You got the transient vamp, which is somebody who just happens to be going through something at the moment, but they're not always like that. And then inherent vamp, a person who every time you come across them, you're never feeling fulfilled or like you're being uplifted when you have a exchange with them. You know what I'm saying? Types of energy vamps. But getting back to psychic attack, psychic attack basically is deliberate or non-deliberate influence towards a person's energy field or auric field, and in most cases, mostly towards the mental body or emotional body. And the psychic attacks is, basically all advertisement, especially by mainstream media, is quote unquote psychic attacks. It's deliberate or non-deliberate influence towards a person's energy field, like it's trying to deliberately influence you to buy a pack of cigarettes or watch this movie, or to get you to fall in line with the civil rights movement or to get, you know what I'm saying? But it's all and that one came up because I thought about that video I did on the billboard with Martin Luther King and how they talked about how AIDS is a civil rights problem. And and just again like it's psychic attacks, to trigger you to either feel some kind of way about it, whatever the case may be. But it's again a deliberate or non-deliberate influence towards a person energy field or auric field. And then also it could be harmful thoughts about you, or it could be harmful feelings connected to those thoughts, you know. Because another thing to actually imagine. But again, it's harmful thoughts that's about you. So if somebody's thinking, oh, I wish this would happen, or I wish that would happen, that's, unhealthy things, that could be considered, a quote unquote psychic attack, you know what I'm saying? And symptoms of a quote unquote psychic attack, signs and symptoms, a few of them could be frightening visions, whether you are quote unquote awake or asleep, whether you, and with these frightening visions, the person who it's connected to, you may see them as like a monster or something like that in your thoughts and meditations. This person, place, or thing may pop up as something like, or harmful towards you, you know what I'm saying? So that's, a perspective, uh, or should I say a symptom or sign. Totally acting out of character. You know what I'm saying? When you find yourself just doing something totally out of character, you know, uh, that's a sign. When you find yourself fatigued or seemingly fatigued out the blue, or matter of fact, all of a sudden you might start yawning and you're like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? What's going on? And again, and just to keep the clarity as I share this, because again, it's with all occult and esoteric information, it is paradox. It is like a double talking situation, you know what I'm saying? Like, regardless, again, in one area you're talking about boundary setting, in another area you're talking about hugging, or being more loving, and not being so strict on boundaries. And we're gonna get to that as well, because boundary setting is not necessarily being true to yourself and trusting your inner intuition and insight. And you create like WandaVision. If you ever watched WandaVision before, like you're creating your boundaries or your own little world by knowing yourself. By knowing yourself, the more you are sure about knowing who you are and what you came to do in this lifetime, the less somebody, could seem like it's maybe a symptom or sign of psychic attack. Major changes in clarity, thinking, analytical abilities. So major changes in clarity, thinking, and or analytical abilities. You'll start to hear voices. You may hear voices, or also like seeing little things out the corner. You feeling like you're seeing something out of the corner of your eye. Little shadow figures, things of this nature. Uh, Seem like you have quote unquote bad luck, you know what I'm saying, or accidents reoccurring again, but it's not really accidents and not really bad luck, but but for lack of a better word, what we call these things, seems like you're having bad luck. Uh, will also be a discomfort or fear in a particular room or area, so whenever you're in a particular area or room, you would feel like a certain type of fear. You may feel like a sudden illness or depression, so you might feel like a certain illness or depression out of the blue. Also, and it's kind of back to what I was saying, feelings of being watched or like something in the corner of your eye, in the peripheral. Obsessive negative thoughts, and then also a desire or fetish that won't go away. Uh, and in most cases, a desire or fetish that won't go away. That's in most cases connected to that person, place, or thing. You know what I'm saying? That you know, uh, a psychic vamp situation, as much as you went through a very traumatic situation that still has you viewing this certain person or this certain archetype of a person. You know, it might not be that exact person anymore, but it's like that blueprint of that person. You know, it seems like you're always having trouble with that person, place, or thing vamping or popping up and draining you. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's a personification of having to do more shadow work and tapping into our subconscious more. You know, on a deeper level. But again, these are the symptoms of the psychic attacks. Let me see. So again, with these psychic attacks are with psychic vampire energy. You know what I'm saying? It's about understanding yourself to the fullest, and the person involved or the person, place, or thing involved, or if not necessarily the person from a human perspective, but like the archetypical energy that they represent. You know what I'm saying? Understanding what energy they represent. You know what I'm saying? And why do you attract that constantly? Because what I'm realizing, is this constant creation of the martyr victim. It's like martyr victim empath being picked on by the hyper ego narcissist, you know, but realizing like they both are being fearful, like both are coming from a fearful place. So it's a symbiotic relationship. It's like one is creating the other. So again, it's not so much of a psychic attack, as much as it's something that's playing out from your subconscious mind. You know what I'm saying? But in most cases, and that's what you're realizing. So say for instance, let's say it is a person, that's like, man, they jealous of you, you know, they they have like a revengeful or anger towards you or jealousy towards you. They fear, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's just say, they projecting that energy. But the whole reason of why you are feeling it, or it's affecting you some kind of way is because you have a certain type of connection to that person that's not allowing for you to let them go, even though you sensing that there is a unhealthy connection there. You know what I'm saying? So again, that goes back to you having to do some inner work. You know what I'm saying? But again, in a lot of cases, people on both sides, again, whether it's from the victim mode or martyr mode or from the hyper ego narcissist, both are, operating from a fearful or traumatic space. You know, again, the person responsible for these thoughts basically feels threatened in some manner, and basically in their mind justifying their negative thoughts as a defense or retaliation. So a lot of times what'll happen is, just you being you, you know what I'm saying, come off to this person as, offensive, or as you doing something to them, so they could justify their negative thoughts, you know what I'm saying, and having those those jealous, angry, fearful thoughts towards you, is justified because, hey, look at him, he think he all that, or you know again, like I'm saying. But again, that's where the sickness starts at. But again, technically, attackers are a manifestation of our subconscious thoughts that have been repressed, and they are looking for attention. You know what I'm saying? Point blank, period. It's certain aspects of shadow work that has been neglected, and it's being personified through a person, place, or thing. You know, and that's when it becomes tough, is because, say for instance in popular circles, it's about especially like, oh, with the ancestors and doing voodoo work, and you better do a spell to protect yourself from them over there and this and that, and all that shit perpetuate more of that, that cycle, you know what I'm saying? Hence why, again, you know, when everybody bring that up, because even people bringing that up and understanding that too, getting over that energy, matter of fact, and I share from my perspective, you know, like say for instance, you're getting over, like you understand that you are the creator of your reality, that nothing can harm you from outside. And let's just say as you start to strengthen this awareness and become, strong in this alignment, what happens? With any inner work, again, because it all happens inside of us first, with any inner work, like uh if I wasn't brushing my teeth every day, but then I start to do my inner work and I start brushing my teeth every day, you know, at some point, that part of me that internally that wasn't brushing his teeth, and didn't want to brush his teeth, would try to come back up and try to be like, you know, hey, just for 1 hour, don't brush your teeth. Again, trying to find little ways to, come back in there. But again, it's like it starts, with self and not nobody doing nothing to you. But what I was gonna say, what I realized, what I had in my experience, so with selling my crystals and stuff like that, I realized this energy would try to make me fearful from the perspective of like, like if it wasn't a energy that was coming to like touch on my crystals and be real vampy-ish like, then it would be somebody on the opposite side, but still an antagonist nonetheless. That's like, oh, you better protect yourself, and because again, so another key. Let me get into that. So the first key of understanding, like, hey, you gotta understand that with any victim and attacker type of situation, again, if it seems like you're under attack, it's because you are a vibrational match to that attack, and the other key I want to get into, which I probably didn't said indirectly, is creating the need to protect. If you feel like, so again, like, cause that's why I did a video about this a while back about like when you Palo Santo an area, look at it from the perspective of I'm Palo Santo and me, you know what I'm saying, and my inner energy. And like when people would bring up, like protective crystals, I'm always bringing up like to keep an insight, like bro, you really protecting yourself, like like you're, not say you're protecting yourself, but like you're, like the crystal is working on you. Like the black obsidian and tourmaline is not giving off an energy that's like repelling people, you know what I'm saying? As much as it's working on your inner energy that prevents you from attracting certain people, places, or things, or it protects you from uh from acting in a powerless manner, you know what I'm saying? Where normally you would act from a fearful place, you're now in a more courageous state of being. And when you're in a more courageous state of being, some energies you start to realize when you're in a strong energy, just like in the wild, like what some animals want to attack this other animal unless they feel it's weak or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, it's the crystal is working on you, on your internal energy. You know what I'm saying? Again, like it's your strongness and your understanding. Cause again, think about it like this too. Cause that energy gets pointed out as a fraud. If you're on point with your shit, and that energy comes around in a crowd of people and try to play that game, it's gonna get exposed on a level that's gonna spark awareness in all those people that that is there, and protect and further protect them from that situation. So, it operates in a manner that, it wouldn't want to expose itself. But long story short, you know what I'm saying? Like again, that need to feel like, oh yeah, you got to do this spell against so and so out here and this and that, then you creating somebody to come and get you. You know what I'm saying? Like you're creating that person, place, or thing to come at you and drain you. You know what I'm saying? By having that perspective. You know what I'm saying? And again, it gets down to really, honoring the universal laws, or sitting here and saying that we not. Like, hey, y'all, let's just say, we're not gonna say all is mine. We're not gonna say, vibrations work the way they do. Fuck the law of correspondence. And then all right, cool. Then it would make sense that something is trying to attack me and stuff like that. But if you look at the insight of all metaphysics, you start to get into the dynamics or the aspects of how metaphysics or energy work. It's like, all right, how in the fuck could I be drained? Like that, like and the way I could explain it again, and it goes back to it being more so triggers than draining, you know what I'm saying? And the reason why you being drained is because you're still thinking or doing things in a certain type of way that puts you in those situations, you know? And it's the moment that you, again, because even by you start to realize, because that's why I'm even able to make this video, because I had to, like, it starts with those first areas of awareness. And then, again, you have to be strong enough and brave enough to not blame others, because that's another thing, too. Like the courage on our spiritual growth is also the courage to embrace things like this, because in most spiritual circles is especially like with certain traditional stuff, because again, it's certain traditions that embrace looking at something outside of you, as you know a threat or this and that, you know what I'm saying, and to play witch wars outside yourself, you know what I'm saying, compared to understanding that your spells, your oils, your herbs, your crystals, all that is to work with on you. You know what I'm saying? To work on you. Because again, that's what's gonna come to the light as well, is that all the external witching and all that shit is, a form of like a toxic delusion in essence, you know what I'm saying? And that's not to and again, as I say that, what I'm saying, that's no judgment towards anybody who may, do these things on that level, you know what I'm saying? Like to each his own, you know what I'm saying? I'm not here to look at anybody doing anything as good or bad, right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? You're doing what you lined up to do until you do whatever inner work to shift it, or if you don't do the inner work to shift it, to continuously do it. You know what I'm saying? But again, to each his own. But again, this other key, like all that, oh, I gotta get my black. So, and this another thing, this how energy check. So say for instance, after I finish this video, I might go to my local crystal shop and come across that old part of myself, that old subconscious thought of, oh yeah, I'm getting my sage and getting my tourmaline because so and so down the street be doing this and doing that, you know what I'm saying? Like it comes back up externally. And it's funny because it does become fun. Your inner work does become fun, you know what I'm saying? Like when you also realize like the dynamics of it and how it does pop up, like again, like the inner work, and then it'll pop up as a person. It's like, look at you, energy trying to come back and confuse me. It's like, nope, you know what I'm saying? Like, and matter of fact, again, like not seeing that person, place, or thing is bad or good. You know what I'm saying? Just understand, like, all right, that little energy, and it's gonna keep, like that's the name of the game. Like it pops back up, so you could, you know, you be in alignment, keep, and the more you keep, like that energy just gonna get tired because it realize you don't get tired. Hmm. Shout out to Kevin Gates. I don't get tired, you know what I'm saying? Once those energies realize that you don't get tired about your spiritual growth, you know what I'm saying? And again, and when I say once those energies, you know, once those internal self-sabotaging energies, once that internal self-sabotage realize like, bro, they not gonna stop. Like they gonna keep getting more crystals. They gonna keep meditating. They gonna keep journaling. They gonna keep looking at a astrology chart. Like this being like, I'm gonna just have to find another place to stay. You know, I'm saying because it takes a lot of stealth in this vessel. This being has to its awareness is everywhere. I can't hide nowhere. That's me speaking from the perspective of that. you know, and again, and also understand the wholeness of it. That energy serves a purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like it all serves a purpose. So again, those two key aspects with any of this work to remember from here on out. Because again, like here it is where this perspective being shared, and then you go somewhere where the popular opinion is that you have to protect yourself from them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta remember the bam, because again, in a lot of cases, it is in popular areas, or popular circles, like again, like that majority energy, of we see the majority may still, you know, do work from the perspective of external protection, on that level. Because and another thing too, there is, you know, a level of protecting yourself, but just always think of it as you're protecting yourself from you. You know what I'm saying, and not necessarily again like this thing outside of me that's out to get me type of energy. Because again, somebody's not making sense. Oh, you could manifest this and that with imagination, creativity. So I'm so imaginative, I'm so creative, but I can't change the situation with this quote unquote vamping energy or psychic attacks. You know, it's like, all right, kind of like, again, like the Christian perspective of God, it's like, God is so powerful, it's so this, it's so that, but all that pesky devil is doing this, and that pesky devil is doing that, and that pesky, to the point where it's like, all right, just standing back and observing, if that pesky devil, and again, from this perspective, I ain't, that pesky devil is always getting one up on God, then shit, why are you looking at God as a powerful being, you know what I'm saying? If the devil always seems to be winning the situation, as indirectly it seems like that's the story, you know what I'm saying? But again, just from that perspective, because it's understanding the yin and the yang, is that the the masculine and feminine is all, the the no thing aspect and the Lucifer aspect is interconnected. You know what I'm saying? Not say the Lucifer aspect, but again, us having this, being in this illusion, lucid dreaming, Lucifer. They call LSD Lucy sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But again, but what's key again, that need to create protection from a perspective of protection from something outside of you. You know. So anytime you find yourself like, because now I tell myself, when I put on my crystals, it's for a certain energy that I'm looking to work on for myself. It's and again, it's step by step, like changing that perspective, even if you gotta say it out loud, because sometimes you do have to say it out loud or write it down continuously to, again, to turn it into, a belief, and stamp it into the subconscious. But again, like all that, if you ever have that vibe of like I'm having to defend myself, because that's even another perspective, like, it's really like a lack of trust. Like basically also like with certain situations of like Like, now don't get it twisted. We're not gonna put ourselves into a draining situation on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I know there's, all these people who uh are not in alignment with my awareness, you know what I'm saying, in this one area. So let me just go and sit by them and just sit there and do nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like, not on that level, but what I'm getting to is that, again, embracing the power as an alchemist and understanding that, you know, like if you find yourself like running from people, or where you like, oh, let me not go here, or I just saw somebody, let me, like, just realize the powerlessness in that, because what you're basically saying is, I don't trust myself to stay in alignment around these people, places, or things, so let me run from them. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me find a way to, try to get around, you know what I'm saying? And you start to realize upon our growth that there's no going around none of it, like we have to face these certain aspects, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, like, you won't be able to run from it, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you could try, but having to face these situations. So again, breaking out of that mind frame of feeling, because just know that the moment where you feel like you got to protect yourself from something externally, you know what I'm saying, and you continuously look at it from that perspective, you create more of that, you know what I'm saying? You're magnetizing that to your experience, you know what I'm saying? Vibrational. Again, vibration, like, this is key about anything, the wholeness of this conversation. And again, the two keys is remembering that if you are going through anything that has, like, seems like a psychic attack, or uh, feel like you're being psychic vamp, always realize that in order to go through that, you have to be a vibrational match to that attack. So you are doing something that's making you a vibrational match to that. You are doing something that makes you a vibrational match to that, not nobody else. And you might as well give up on your spiritual growth now if somebody outside you got that much power over you. Like, fuck it, put the crystals in the meditation, all that shit to the side now. If this is about trying to fight from somebody else control, you know what I'm saying? And you think well, then they control you. Just give up now, you know what I'm saying? In that sense of it, from that perspective. But again, you have to be a vibrational match to it. You got to be a vibrational match to it. And so it's like understanding that, again, like, you attracting, these situations. And again, emotions come from within, unless you're claiming, that everyone, like, again, everybody outside you is why you feel a certain way. And then, like, oh, I felt that kind of way because of them, you know what I'm saying? That's their chakras is not aligned. Or I'm doing my inner work. When even saying something like that is awareness that, things are out of alignment. Because anytime you blame anything outside of yourself, that's, bam, that's out of there. Now, again, when we're explaining certain things about, like, just say, not getting deep into it, but let's just say we're getting poked with needles and diseases and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, even with that aspect, you know, dang, missed the notion. I was about to bring in something. It'll come in. It'll come in. Talking about operational match. Oh, it'll come back. But again, let's see. So your own attention that you pay to a person, place, or thing that seems to make you feel negative, it starts within. They just happen to be the trigger. So again, your own attention that you pay to a person, place, or thing, again, because you're paying attention to it, that your own attention that you pay to this person, place, or thing, and which seems like it's making you feel a negative, is really starting inside of you. You know what I'm saying? They just happen to be the trigger, you know what I'm saying? Cause say for instance, somebody come around you and you in earshot of a conversation where somebody talking about, oh yeah, you better protect yourself, and I heard about this one girl where somebody did a spell on her and she transitioned the next few days, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be aware to not be triggered by that conversation. Cause the moment you're you're you feel like, oh, they said that around me to try to make me scared, you know, that's that energy trying to get to me, you know. And in a sense, technically, it is, but uh, but not from a space of where you're powerless. Again, it's through your awareness, which protects you. Like your awareness, and the more you become aware of these types of things, is what protect you. Because again, now after this, you'll know, like every time that'll pop up, like nope, not ain't nothing outside of me. You know what I'm saying? And please know, red flag, that if a person, sits and try, like, what you have to, be allowing that situation, at least to some extent, until but like if a person is like, oh no, whoever said that it starts with N is a lie, you better wear that tourmaline for protection from that person, or you better, you know, just know, just trust your inner intuition and what it feels like when that person is telling you that. Because another thing I just call myself, what I won't do, I won't, because that's on the flip side of that, like telling you not to listen to somebody or, be scared. I'm just speak in the sense of you'll just sense it and feel like anybody who's trying to influence you, especially after you just gain this insight or this perspective that just lighten your load. So if you just gain a perspective that just lighten your load, and then somebody comes in trying to influence you to look at things from that old perspective that had you more heavy, it's just a obvious, it's just bam, I see it, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna point out to a particular person, place, or thing as much as just being aware of reading the energy. You know that if you just did the work to transmute that energy, and then it come back as a person, place, or thing saying how much it's stupid to do the thing that you did that helped you, or or whatever, then you know what it is. You know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? But again, a victim, is breaking out of that victim mode, looking for that external scapegoat, because again, that's another perspective of what, Lucifer is, in that sense, you know what I'm saying, or the goat or Baphomet, is that it's the scapegoat, you know. It was all, it was, it was all that over there, or, you know what I'm saying? Because even embracing, again, hence why we do have to embrace our lower nature and, our physical nature and our physical being, like even embracing aspects of our ego, you know what I'm saying? Like, and not using our ego as a scapegoat, because actually, again, the ego is in a healthy manner allowing for you to have this experience, you know what I'm saying, to gain more insight and understanding. But, again, like, oh, it's the devil that did that, so that's why it's like that, or it's this thing over here, you know what I'm saying? So again, it's like understanding to not create any scapegoats. It's your trigger experience, like you're being triggered, you're dealing with some type of trauma that's causing you to recreate certain situations that seem like you're being vamped, you know what I'm saying? Because again, like, to show you how this happens by yourself without people and how it's an internal thing, you'd be sitting by yourself, and all of a sudden, It's like you just in a like a little funk, or you're not feeling like you could create something in the moment. You know what I'm saying? It's due to you having a certain thought, you know, and the thought is aligned with a certain emotion. You know what I'm saying? And it's causing you to again like feel like you're not being uplifted in that moment, aka you're feeling like you're drained. Because again, what we call being drained is really just more so is just the opposite of being uplifted. I wouldn't say, not. I've had some moments, I keep it real though. I've had some moments where it seemed like, being drained as well, like where I felt like I was a little more tired or quote unquote lethargic, you know what I'm saying, a little lazy from that perspective. But it just more so just seemed like, again, what we call vamping is just not uplifting energy coming in, you know what I'm saying? Again, it's coming from a more so from a neutral person or a non-uplifting person. And another thing to be aware of, attracting those who aren't self-aware and prone to have unhealthy thoughts due to a lack of awareness of subconscious aspects within yourself. So let's see. So again, like it's you dealing with a person, place, a thing, and they feel like, like damn, they lack awareness, like, they ain't, like they don't get it, or it's because of some lack of awareness or something that you're not getting, because even by wondering, like if you wondering why this person existed in your realm, then that's an example of you not knowing what's up as well, because you in that moment you questioning like, oh, I don't know what's going on here. I don't I don't know what's going on here. Why are these people who don't know what's going on here in my realm? I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? It's like bam bam. I don't know if y'all caught that, you know what I'm saying? But it's like that creating and simultaneously experiencing what you're creating, and having to be so swift in your awareness of what you're creating, you know what I'm saying? Because if you're not aware enough, you'll go to, again, like doing certain things that aren't in alignment with your highest good, or going back into your past energies, you know what I'm saying? But again, this all the with the vamping and psychic attack situation, it all speaks to knowing ourselves better, and again doing the shadow work, you know what I'm saying? Tapping in. What the shadow work is, again, going into ourselves. And the shadow was created the first moment as a little child in this lifetime, when we were told this is desirable behavior, this is undesirable behavior. And the moment we again are labeled, these things are good, these things are bad, that's the moment that our quote unquote shadow was created, you know what I'm saying? Because literally, uh, what becomes the shadow is those things that we deemed as bad, or that it doesn't have any purpose. It's bad, it doesn't have a purpose. Let's shift it off to the side, you know what I'm saying? But again, like, because the whole aspect of, doing the work is, again, also I realize of inner harmony, or having compassion for all these different parts of self. Like, having compassion for the old 40 drinker in me. That doesn't mean I gotta go get a 40 ounce and start drinking it to show that part of me compassion. Just by, again, like sending that mental note, that thought, that visualization of that love, if you're visualizing yourself hugging that, part of yourself. Because again, that's where that, what comes off as like nice, touchy feely, care bearish energy, that's where it does make sense, is when you loving yourself and doing your inner work, you know what I'm saying? You should, love yourself in the corniest sense of it. You know what I'm saying? Like fuck the dumb shit. Now again, it's with the external expression of trying to be nice to everybody and always smiling, and I'm just always nice. I never have any other thing but nice. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit is, you know what I'm saying? Like the unhealthy again, like more so the new age movement perspective, you know what I'm saying? But to love ourselves and care for ourselves, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not, no new age type of, bull corn, you know what I'm saying? And so getting into the place of boundaries, and I kind of spoke on earlier, again, your boundaries are created through your authenticity, by you being your authentic self and knowing what your authentic self is. And again, hence why the magic is about, you know, the sacral, you know what I'm saying? In my little Krishnamurti book, I don't know if I can see. I say, study your sacral, the moon, water, and mem. But it's like the sacral, the subconscious, like again, the emotions in connection with our subconscious and our thoughts, and seeing that connection because our thoughts be connected to a certain emotion, and again, and it's like it's like a PTSD situation, again, like that quote unquote person we calling a vamp is displaying a energy that's causing us to like, oh shit, like a PTSD person might hear some fireworks and like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Well, that's what again these quote unquote vamps, you know what I'm saying, are doing in our interaction, you know what I'm saying? Is being a trigger. Now again, you do have that version again of people that non-uplifting person that's not working on themselves and and not uplifting, what I'm saying, that is a fact that energy does exist where a person could be walking around here not uplifting, so experience with that person will feel quote unquote draining, you know but again though, but with experiencing that, it's not so much about, all right, let me wear a piece of tourmaline so I don't come across so and so no more. Because guess what? Two of so and so is gonna pop up just to show you that it ain't about just putting on no piece of tourmaline from an external sense of protection. It's more so put on this tourmaline to protect myself from my own fearful thoughts, because maybe I'm fearing facing a certain perspective that would help me to not fear people outside of me. You know what I'm saying? Like some people are fearful towards embracing this insight from this perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like again, like seeing where the courage on our spiritual growth is put in areas that that's normally not spoken of, you know what I'm saying? But you got to be courageous to, again, to admit that, although popular, like on a popular level, people mostly like to blame things outside of them, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to courageously speak on the fact that I realize that it ain't about blaming nothing outside of me, and it's about tapping into my inner work, you know what I'm saying? And going within myself and understanding myself, you know, which what's causing these situations is, you know, and literally, if you are wondering why I'm going through this, then literally that's a personification or a manifestation of you not knowing yourself fully. If you have to ask, why am I, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's the answer within itself, it's showing itself of you asking like, well, why I'm then, well, let me understand myself a little more, because obviously and you start to see that that's what the experience, the people, places, and things you come across, again, your vibration internally creates a certain experience, again, the affirmations and the visualizations, they do work, and at the same time is to get to a point of where your vibration, matches that energy of that affirmation and that visualization. You know, like you could visualize those millions, or that farm or that crystal business or whatever the case may be. You could visualize it, and say affirmations about it. But what is your inner frequency? You know what I'm saying? Because again, like a bunch of people who walk around now, where oh, I heard a doctor said it, but still going to the hospital, you know. Like, was like, all right, I consciously acknowledge it, but I haven't worked it into my subconscious where this is truly a part of what I believe in and what I do. You know what I'm saying? But your boundaries is set with your authenticity, you know. So again, do more self-empowering activities that give you energy. Because a good exercise that I realized, again, that be the simple work. It just be sitting down and working with yourself. Like, and reason why it seems hard because we're in a society that externally promotes hustle. Come on, get it. So it's like and literally that's kind of how it comes off. You know what I'm saying? Just like I felt that in me mimicking that. It's like, damn, bro, like. You know what I'm saying? Like, but again, it's like so you don't feel the need to journal or journaling is a waste of time or you know what I'm saying? Like these things come off as if you don't have quote unquote time to do it because and again, that's a subconscious programming within itself, You're still subconsciously believing that you can't make time for your soul and your spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like, because literally, that's what like we're saying with our actions. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, I do have this like by sitting down and writing all that much again, like it's like showing like the dedication is there. You know what I'm saying? But again, like, and I share that with y'all in this video as a little exercise. Like, as a little exercise, write down all the things that bring you energy. You know what I'm saying? And that'll help you identify more and more too, like what's going on internally and, externally as well. As far as like, you see what's going on internally and see what manifests, you know, allows for more understanding. But again, like, yep, basically again, like what gives you energy on spiritually, emotionally, and mentally on all levels, all the things that give you energy. Write that out. It might be talking about esoteric and occult information might give you energy. Being at the beach might give you energy. Riding up drawing might give you energy. Listening to music might give you energy. And again, I realize although it seems elementary, you know what I'm saying, to write this stuff out, like a workbook type of vibe, And again, to each his own. Some of us could just say this, like, all right, let me be aware of the things that give me energy and list it in their mind without having to write it down. There may be some people capable, but just speaking of, but either way, it's like taking record of it, So again, that gives more clarity, and if you want to, too, like to gain more clarity, the things that do drain, not having to focus on that list all the time in that sense of it. But again, awareness is the key because just because I'm aware of the negativity that's inside of me doesn't mean I'm gonna always be negative. Again, that goes back to that where some people so positive and peachy where they neglect doing their shadow work, you know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't look good, you know what I'm saying? It's like, again, having that awareness, have to be aware of the ugliness in the world, just don't have to pay attention to it all the time in the sense of like it, uh, ring. Aren't we the ones saying that, law of attraction, subconscious mind, create, do this, and I'm making fun of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, like that perspective of how we say things in one area and then, but again, that's the parody of this realm. Because another part of this experience is that, again, to accept the fact that we are in these human bodysuits. You know what I'm saying? Now's the vibrate. Because again, all that focusing on the future is, like that's why the world seems like it's ending to anybody. If you pay attention, anybody who's constantly like future oriented, like what's to come, but they never like talk about and notice that it's gonna have like a sense of more leaning towards the world ending, even if they are a being that's doing their work or tapped in, in that sense. It's always gonna kind of lean towards the area of like the world is ending or something, you know what I'm saying? Because if I'm not present in the moment, what, or if I'm just sitting down thinking about what could happen in the future, then literally, that's creating a future that would seem like, oh yeah, that's what, all this stuff gonna happen because I'm just sitting here right now, so that's what's gonna. But so again, with the boundaries, doing more self-empowering activities that give you energy and enjoyment, you know, more confidence with the solar plexus and more emotional stable with the sacral chakra, you know, the more you get to know yourself through doing what brings you life, you know what I'm saying? The more you create boundaries, you know what I'm saying? That's where the confidence come in. A person could be confident about what they're doing because they know that this is what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm confident at this being, what it is I can express, and then also having that emotional stability because you're knowing what's going on inside of you. And again, by having this inner awareness, it creates that ease. And again, speaking to the boundaries, your boundaries are created through you getting to know yourself, you know what I'm saying, and not just necessarily putting a little wall up on that level, you know. So boundaries are set through you knowing yourself. And just kind of going back over some areas. Again, that feeling of feeling drained when you being like if you feel drained from being around a person, place, or thing, you know, it's because it is something that doesn't give you energy. Point blank, just point blank, it is not inspiring to you to be around this person, place, or thing. You know, it's like again, because it could be like the neutral energy. It's just like where you just don't feel uplifted by this situation. It's like, but this person not necessarily, and even if they are purposely, again, if you realize that they are purposely doing this, then why have I found myself to, because again, if this person is right around where I stay, you know what I'm saying, and obviously it's something dealing with me, I'm attracting this compared to of not having this experience or not feeling like somebody is quote unquote draining. But again, it's not necessarily the taking of the energy from you, it's just not giving you any, and by not getting any energy from somebody in that sense of it, and again, let's say getting energy, you're not getting energy from the person. That person is not, again, like some people are triggering us to go into a traumatic space, and some in spirit inside you coming from within, you know what I'm saying? But again, it's not it's nobody taking your energy. And again, if you feel like I have to protect myself from this or that, you know what I'm saying? Because again, you you do have to, again, it's a internal, external, but again, it's like not making it an external thing, like realizing that you are attracting that external situation, you know what I'm saying? Because again, just like when you're by yourself in a thought and you feel either good or bad, aka you either feel like you have energy or you feel like you're drained of energy. And that happens when you sitting by yourself, you know what I'm saying? Which again is like a precursor to letting you know that it's just more so that when I go out into the world, hence why a lot of it, because there's a balance to everything. I realize with my isolation and like me being to myself, like the double-edged sword of it, because it could get to a place where you are running from yourself by being. It's funny, it's the parody of it, because you get to know yourself from being, by yourself, but then at the same time, you know, at some point it's also, it could be like you running from yourself in the sense of like you know, how you interact with others, because you are in a world with other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, now some people did chose to come down here to meditate by themselves and never interact with, you know, people in the world. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, you know, we're down here, you know, in places where there's nothing but people, you know, in a lot of cases, you know what I'm saying? Or not say a lot of cases, but you know, well, yeah, you know, it's not uh that much rural area, so to speak, you know. But let's see, I almost went on a tangent. But basically, again, bringing it into the perspective that it starts internally with your own thoughts, you know. And again, that's what I was talking about, like just the triggered aspect. That person may do something that triggers a certain, you know, thought slash emotion, and that thought and emotion is what's robbing you of your energy. AKA, it's not robbing you of your energy. You're not feeling uplifted, you know. Because again, if I come across some, that's why I was talking about like hiding with isolation, you know, because I started to realize, like, all right, part of being isolated could also be trying to run away from facing certain aspects of yourself. Because you realize when you do interact with people that you are the toxic one, or you have trouble being in alignment. Again, like, it's about knowing that you are alchemist and being in alignment no matter where I'm at or no matter who I'm around or where I'm at, you know, in alignment, you know. And again, I won't necessarily uh, go to places where I know that my energy is likely to not be uplifted, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, know that no matter where I go, that, you know, it's my energy. If I go around somebody who usually does things that are draining, I know in that moment to, you know, to be aware that they cannot drain my energy. This is not an uplifting situation. And, you know, if I'm here or a situation has it to where, like, it plays out to where, you know, in essence, like, you have to be around that person, you know what I'm saying? Then again, it's like you having to understand what going on inside of you that has you in a situation where you have to be around that person, you know? Because I could sit around that person all day and talk about how toxic they are, but if I'm talking about how toxic they are and I'm not moving around, then I'm just as toxic as them. Again, you start to see, like, again, it's like a symbiotic relationship with, again, with the psychic vamp and psychic attacks, or, you know, or being vamped and the person being sucked on, you know, again, like that martyr victim empath slash hyper ego narcissist energy. And one is a passive aggressive version of the other's aggressive version. You know, the narcissist hyper ego is more so like the aggressive version. The martyr, victim, and empath is the passive aggressive. Because again, like, some people be in that empath vibe of like that hero syndrome. I made a video about it a while back about like trying to save people. You know, like, oh, I'm an empath. I feel energy. Let me try to save, you know, this person. This person is not meditating. Let me try to save them, even though they didn't ask me for a consultation or didn't ask me about meditation. Like, they didn't ask me about none of this. Let me try to save. Oh man, you get to laugh at yourself, bro. That's what comedy is, man. It's like being able to laugh at yourself, because that's one of the keys to growth too. It's like not being so stubborn about what you're going through, to the point where it's like acknowledging, like, yep, I was probably vamping the person. Because another thing is like, you know, if you're not able to acknowledge certain stuff in you, you won't grow. You know what I'm saying? Like, how to be able to acknowledge that, you know, like, oh, I probably was that kind of empath, or I probably was that type of vamping energy, or I was probably, you know what I'm saying? Like, because if you like, oh, you know, I did this and that, like, no, bring yourself up, bring yourself up. You your only best friend. First and foremost, you know what I'm saying? You being your best friend to yourself is what creates the, you know, the soul fam popping up being, quote unquote best friends to you. But it's definitely again that impact. I'm a victim. Woe is me. I feel everybody's energies. I'm a victim. You should feel sorry for me. Yeah, like all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I, I don't know why. You know, I keep attracting people trying. It's because another thing too is because again, you know, whether it's lack of boundaries by not knowing yourself or knowing what your purpose is in this lifetime. It could be a lack of boundaries through that, or a lack of boundaries in just being too nice, you know, or again, or a lack of boundaries through ignorance of just not understanding none of this and understand, you know what I'm saying? But that's where a lot of that come from. But again, it's a trigger, and it's a trigger, and it mostly again like with the martyr slash victim and opposed to the hyper ego slash narcissist, they're both insecurities. You know what I'm saying? Like mostly insecurity of power. Like it's a power insecurity situation. Most narcissists are hyper ego vibes of uh, like they fear people being more powerful than them, in essence. So they want to come off as the one that's more powerful and having it more together than everybody else. So it's like an insecurity about power that makes them want to create a sense of, of water, you know what I'm saying? But it's like that self-image and more so again like with power, insecurity around power and around like you could say personal power and cuz it in essence like validation, cuz both are looking for again both the victim and the narcissist in essence may have like a looking for validation vibe, It's like the martyr, woe is me, you know. And the martyr kind of looking for that, hey, good job, way to put yourself on the cross for all of us, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like the martyr kind of looking for that validation, like, hey, thank you, you know what I'm saying? Why the but again, indirectly, I'm feeling like are that, and not from that perspective. It's more a martyr more so want to hear from the place of like, oh, we thank you for, you know, whatever, and we know you're going through so much, and you know what I'm saying, like, so again, it's shedding light. So again, we understand that energy taken and given is, you know, it's an illusion. Because even down to, again, when we talk about Reiki healing, because even so in the doubles, the paradox or entendre, whatever in this situation, but like, when I say, energy taken or given, quote unquote, is an illusion, it's just more so from the perspective, like, again, when we feel like somebody's giving us energy, it's not necessarily quote unquote like giving us energy. They're just a person, place, a thing that's just so uplifting. Like I say, for instance, people who have learned how to really be in a perspective of unconditional love and non-judgmental. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels like you're getting energy around them. Why? Because of the simple fact of just how refreshing it feels to, be around somebody where you could sense that no matter what you would say or do, they wouldn't judge you. You know what I'm saying? So that just feels good. You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily that that person is here. I give you this, because again, if that energy cannot be destroyed nor created, you know what I'm saying? So what, I'm not giving nothing. I'm not being again. It's not being drained. You're just in a dimension, because literally, what trauma is and what emotional triggers is like a it's like I forgot the word I made for it's like a the best way to put it is like like a subconscious flashback, or it's like you going about your day, and somebody is doing something. Some person, place, a thing, just to cover all ground, is doing something or smelling something, like it's doing, or it's smelling like something, or it's looking like something from a part of your past where you experienced a certain trauma, or was experiencing a certain energy, you know what I'm saying? And like again, you're triggered into that situation, so they are just being themselves again, like they're going about their growth, like again, because whether they're ignorant, they know what's up, don't know what's up, doing it deliberately or undeliberately, they are on their path and you are on yours. And again, it goes back to your awareness, that kind of about to shift to another little area. But and as I again bringing in the Reiki aspect, again, like Reiki workers are able to do that work because of an understanding that of being tapped into an infinite source of energy. So how could I be drained? Doing if that's the case, like all Reiki workers would drop dead after a session, like. You know what I'm saying? And I do this I mean, it's me being me, but it's also strategic, in a sense of like saying the things the way I do and making, like laughing at it, genuinely laughing at it, but it really allows for us to gain perspective when it's brought up in these little simplistic ways of viewing it, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like, again, like a person is a helper. Like I'm a helper. I'm not doing nothing for you. You doing everything for you. You know what I'm saying? Like this video is not doing anything for you. You know what I'm saying? Like you going the part of you that wants to know more about itself and wants to gain more clarity about itself. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just the external representation of that energy. Again, a while back I brought up like we're figments of each other's imagination. Uh, another key aspect too, though, which is key. And shout out to Till Swan for bringing up this perspective, because I never really like paid attention to it per se, or kind of like questioned it. I kind of understood this, but long story short, you'll find that vamp targets, so people who are targets for vamps, is usually in the circle of self-help or spiritual groups, or any people who main views and practices promote less boundaries. You know what I'm saying? People being open with little to no discernment. So people who have views and practices that promote, being very open and being open without discernment, or being overly nice and overly peaceful, to extremes. You know what I'm saying? But these people are the targets for those vamps. And again, like the self-help spiritual group aspect. Why? Because when we're on our growth, what's one of the first things, again, like like we're learning to do is to practice self-love and to stop hating people. So basically, like we're in those stages of somewhat is like releasing old boundaries to create new ones. You know what I'm saying? Or in most cases, though, it just has. We're in that stage of embracing people no matter what they're going through. That's what the openness. That's what leaves a person open, or what makes a person on their spiritual growth such a great target, is because you know when you're starting your spiritual growth in that area, you're getting to a place of practicing, forgiveness, and understanding why a person could be, mentally sick, and to forgive them for their mentally sick, mental sickness and stuff like that. So with that energy, you know, uh, some beings see that as a opportunity, because again, like a person on a spiritual growth is less likely to just nip it in the butt quick, because that, when you're in spiritual growth, you wondering like, oh, all right, this meant for me to be nice to this person. I show this person love, you know what I'm saying? Like on that level. But so again, this all goes back to again being triggered, and you're triggered into depriving yourself through your own thoughts and emotions, you know. And every thought, in essence, like it's funny because the thought and emotion is like male and female, it's like a marriage, you know what I'm saying? The thought comes with emotion. And matter of fact, because that's another thing too, is like a situation plays out that gives us a certain emotion. So that's how, it happened. Like we're on our growth. Uh, a certain situation happened upon our growth, which caused a certain emotion. So now that experience is like, like a memory in essence in our, subconscious, and then let's just say in the signature of our being. So when something that mimics, that first situation comes around, you know, the thought will pop up of our past situation, which would also bring up the emotion of that past situation, you know. And now I could say like, oh, again, like this person, like where it could even be, again, like very deliberate, but it's still like a part of some type of inner work or perspective or something you gotta do to understand, you know what I'm saying, to create that situation. And this how I know what I'm speaking on is really tapped in. I ain't been trying to look at it, but I'm seem like somebody spamming the chat, which we're gonna have to moderate that if it is spam. But just seeing that, it again, the Truman Show effect. As I'm talking about stuff that helps strongly, something tries to get all, look at me, look at me. But give thanks for the example within the video. Because again, we're talking about helping ourselves with being triggered, and key aspects to our growth. Psychic vampire, and psychic attacks. So to feel the need to like spam the messages during that type of talk will just let you know. But basically triggered into depriving yourself through your own thoughts and emotions. If they bring up spells, rituals on people and hexes, if you feel drained or fearful or anxious, and basically like energy is being taken, then there's some shadow work necessary. So again, what I'm saying is, like I brought up earlier with the story of like, you starting to heal the perspective of understanding that nothing could harm you. But as you do that, that old thought tries to show up again through external version of a person, place, or thing. And again, it might be like a conversation with a person bringing up spells and rituals on people, and you better protect yourself from so and so doing rituals and hexes and stuff, to try to get your subconscious back into a place of, fearing that, so you could attract that situation. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's not even in the situation. It's not them. It's like you gotta ask yourself why, because you lined up in the store, in a place, or wherever, the same time that person that's talking about whatever they're talking about, you know, like again, that your at how long you brush your teeth, how long whatever you did is what aligned you with whatever you experience. It's not them. And again, you create more of it by like, oh, it's them. Again, always remember that in order to be, you know, under spiritual attack, you have to be a vibrational match to attack. So you got to be somebody at the least that believe that they can be attacked. Then you are a vibrational match to it. You know, if you believe that something outside of you can harm you, you're a match to it. You know, if you know better, but you still be a little bit on the fence, you're still kind of a semi match to it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever percentage level internal, that's how it shows up external, you know? But again, but the answer is within us, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, it's not about fixing anything outside of us. And that's just the wholeness for our, you know, spiritual growth in general, you know? And with so I talked about the vamp targets, also again different aspects of identifying vamps, which I spoke on the aspects of, you know, what a uplifting person is, what a neutral person is, what a not uplifting person is, and then I spoke on the two types of energy vamps. Again, you got the transient vamp and you got the inherent vamp. You know, the inherent vamp is a person who's inherently just always like that, and the transient vamp is somebody who's normally not like that. They just happen to be going through something at the moment, you know, causing them to have that experience in that moment. But basically, you know, with identifying vampires in most cases is a person that's not looking into self-care or growth in any area. You know, they're not looking to better understand themselves in any way, form, or fashion. You know, in most cases, again, like this, that person that you didn't express some type of spiritual insight or advice to, not say advice, but you share some spiritual information with somebody or just some useful information with somebody that could help them, and they come back around or when you see them again, it's the same stuff. It's like, oh man, and I'm still dealing with this. You know, and that's another form of protection with dealing with that form of vamp, is to give people homework. Like, all right, if you genuinely trying to help yourself and you genuinely calling yourself asking me for help in this moment, meditate for 7 days straight. Like, you know, and when we talk to them, then we'll realize, you know, what it is from there. But again, you know, it's like, uh, you know, having that situation there to show whether, all right, like if you are working, bam, you know, uh try this little exercise or write this affirmation out or do this visualization, you know what I'm saying? Like, and again, and that's how you know it starts with you, because if that person don't do none of that stuff, still on that same shit, and when they come back around, you still entertain them, then that's a you situation. You still entertaining a person, place, or thing that showed you that it has no, not even a hint of inspiration to help itself or others. You know what I'm saying? So if you putting yourself back in that situation, you know, because again, like with any of our stuff, you know, it's like you you putting yourself in those situations. But again, a person that's not looking into self-care or growth in any area to better understand themselves, and therefore they're not being able to provide or generate their own joy or AKA energy in life. So they're not able to provide their own energy in life because they're not, you know, they're not trying to, you know, for whatever reasons, they have like a certain block perspective that's not allowing for them to have the inspiration to want to, you know, do any type of spiritual growth or look at any type of new information or insight, you know what I'm saying? So, but and also to the outside aspect and understanding that if you invest energy into vamps, it's because internally you invest energy into your victimhood with yourself, or you invest energy, you know, into the parts of yourself that's draining. You know what I'm saying? Like even with simple habits, like like whether it's alcohol or smoking or things of this nature, it's like having a healthy relationship. Because at certain points, smoking your herb, or having that little glass of wine could come in, and like it's like you feel uplifted, after a glass of wine. You know what I'm saying? You feel uplifted. Again, showing you everything in moderation and different strokes for different folks. You know what I'm saying? But again, uh if you invest your energy, or it's how you invest your energy internally on how you invest your energy externally. But again, if you invest energy into vamps, but more so the vamps from the perspective of the again, not necessarily the martyr or the narcissist perspective, but this is just the perspective of a person that, again, that's not looking for self-care or growth in any area or any way, form, or fashion, you know. But basically, you invest energy in those types of uh, vamps. You are basically investing energy in your victimhood. Like you're like, oh, poor me. Like, oh, I'm going to just enable this part of me. You know what I'm saying? So it calls you to enable externally. You know what I'm saying? So again, uh, it's an inside outside relationship. Or again, are if you are a vamp, so if you're a person that does vamp, it's probably because you don't internally love yourself. So you seek validation and love externally. You know what I'm saying? Like you're looking to pull it from other people. And that's when the covert narcissist and all that comes in. Whereas a person that comes off is like, oh yeah, I could give you something. Look at me. And all of what I do, I could give you a lot of energy. But then, after interactions with them, it's like, I didn't really get nothing from them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like understanding that perspective. Because I realized too, you know, upon my growth, hence why I'm glad to understand the difference between, like understanding transient vamps and inherent vamps. Because there's certain people that I came across that were transient vamps, where they was just going through something for that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like where they necessarily wasn't gonna be like that, the whole time. You know. But again, inner work. Because again, if I if I'm like always feeling guilt about myself in certain aspects of myself, then I do it externally. So again, if I'm in a victimhood mode, or let's just say I'm yeah, just a victimhood mode, you know what I'm saying? Like where I'm giving a lot of energy or attention or money to, let's just say, the addictive part of my nature, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm giving money to unhealthy addictions and this and that. And then externally, you know what I'm saying? People, places, and things pop up, in that same energy, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm giving energy to out inside of me. So it's popping up and external, like, hey, give some to us too. Shit, you giving it to the the party on the inside, but the party external, they're trying to get in on that energy too. You know what I'm saying? So again, internal, external. But all of our interactions is an external display of an internal story. Because that's what the world is about to find out, in essence, really. It's like all of your situations that's playing out, everything you're dealing with, it all has to deal with you, you know? You and your connection to source energy. But again, that blaming thing is it's an illusion. and say for instance, on the flip side, like, yes, there are people who may project energy. Again, there may be people who project energy and things are blamed, but that ain't for you to do the same thing. Again, you don't, like, you're not gonna get yourself into a high vibrational state by participating in those lower vibrational back and forth energies. You know what I'm saying? And again, we're almost done, y'all. We're almost done with the notes. With both martyrs and narcissists, let's see. And I realized like the archetypes of like the narcissist and martyr, but I realized like it's a extreme Aries and wounded Scorpio. That's what I call it. It's the extreme Aries or the wounded Scorpio. The wounded Scorpio don't trust nobody. You know what I'm saying? It's like that lack of trust, fear vibe. You know what I'm saying? Then the extreme Aries is like that ego narcissist, like, oh, me. You know what I'm saying? But again, Aries to the extreme, to an unhealthy perspective, where it's just all about me and what I got going on, and you should be listening to me, and you know what I'm saying? Like, again, like that unhealthy narcissism, and again, like that martyr slash victim, kind of also having like that wounded Scorpio, you know what I'm saying? That Scorpio that done been through stuff and don't trust nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like that energy. But again, and this more so back to identifying some of the type of vamping behavior. It's again, a being that never wants to apply healing advice. Every time you come across them, they never applying the healing advice that you share. It's basically looping interactions where, every time you come across them, it seems like the situation is on repeat, which is also the universe letting again, like, you need to do whatever inner work to detach yourself from, again, like that monk said, from having a pet vampire. Like, you got a pet vampire, man. This is the joking sense of it, but it's real, you know what I'm saying? But again, it's a person that never wants to apply the healing advice, you know what I'm saying? They almost always have some type of excuse to not do something that would help them on their spiritual growth. Any and all excuses. Oh, I would meditate, but I had to work, or I would da da da. And again, it's not oh, well, since they doing that, they're bad. Like, no, they're not bad. They just where they're at on their growth. You know what I'm saying? But also energy vamping person is a person that would, if in your interactions, if a person like looks to come around you or do certain things that are very triggering to you when you least expect it, which it's hard for that to happen when you're in alignment, because when you're in alignment and you're vibrating high, you kind of get you got like a little premonition vibe going on where you can kind of sense, all right, this is about to happen. Let me boom align to be prepared to bam combat that energy. And I say combat, but to deal with that energy. So again, a vamping person have that energy of looking to strike when it's least expected, when your energetic guards are down, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? People who are lacking trust in others and dealing with paranoia, because I watched myself go through that in the past and having to transmute that, again, like that lack of trust, you become like a vamping energy, you know what I'm saying? Again, there's inherent vamping in transit, vamping, so and that's another thing too, how to identify yourself and know that you're not a vamp. At least first and foremost is awareness of you not deliberately looking. Like, if you don't walk around deliberately looking for ways to get energy from other people, that's one automatic right there where you know it's not you. But then on top of that, though, we live in a society that has taught us to do certain things in manners that is, vamping and is a form of psychic attack. You know what I'm saying? So first you become aware that you're on a conscious level, that you're not deliberately trying to do this, but then also going deeper and seeing like, well, let me make sure that my actions are in alignment with this as well, that that my subconscious and my actions are in alignment, and I'm not doing this unconsciously, where I'm not realizing it, but I am, you know, again, like vamping people whenever I'm around or whatever the case may be. But again, beings who lack trust in others, may have like like a vamping energy, cause they like not trust. They ain't trying to give you nothing, cause they wondering what you up to. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna feel kind of vamping around them, because they not trying to give no energy. They like, why are you around me? You know what I'm saying? And again, that's the area I realize that we don't want to get into, from not knowing this dynamic. Because if you don't know this dynamic of psychic vamp and energy attacks or psychic attacks, and like how it really works, then you would go to you could get into a space where you feel like everybody out to get you, and that's not true. You know what I'm saying? Again, like realizing how much the mind will try to create these false narratives in our now moment. You know what I'm saying? But again, lacking trust in others and that paranoia energy. A hyper perfectionist, hyper perfectionist for for validation and praise externally. So being a hyper perfectionist, and this in essence too is like, again, like an unhealthy perspective from a societal aspect, because there's this, they try to create this idea of perfection. You know what I'm saying? Like perfect is this, it's like there's a way to have everything perfect, and it's like, no, there's not in that sense. It's more so embracing our imperfections is the only perfection. you know it's embracing the fact that I am source on a human experience, like I am the no thing and I am on a human experience. You know what I'm saying? So it's embracing the imperfection that comes with that, that makes me perfect. But not necessarily like, because again, that's a societal perspective of perfect. Because perfect, means like you gotta talk a certain way and move a certain way, and you know what I'm saying, like the perfect soldier or but it's more so like from, again, like just false versions or perspectives of perfection. But again, a hyper perfectionist, you know, could also possibly be a vamping energy off of the strength of, again, like being hyper perfectionist from the sense of looking for validation or praise. And if a person is looking for validation or praise, in most cases they're looking for it more than they're actually, uplifting and giving it out to others. You know what I'm saying? So be aware of that. Also, being numb. So you may be numb to yourself, and and so with, again, like identifying the vamps, uh, like they may come off as numb, but what it's getting to is also a person that it chases between extremes. So it's like a person that goes from extreme, basically one extreme to another, you know what I'm saying? Because of the fact that, in order to feel something, things have to be extreme, you know? Because I even realized that, with that awareness for myself, with working with my crystals and stuff like that. Now, part of it is aesthetics, or the reason why I may wear more than one crystal. But I had to realize, like to make sure that, again, like I'm not oversaturating my sensory perceptors, and not oversaturating them, not only physically but metaphysically, and like say for instance when you oversaturate your taste buds, oversaturate meaning you like eat a lot of sugars and salts. As you do that, that dampens your ability to feel. Hence why when you start eating like that, you just look for even saltier and even sweeter foods. Like it takes even more, you know what I'm saying? Like more spices and more things to be felt because, again, you done kind of uh harmed your receptors in essence, you know what I'm saying? So it's being aware of that. But again, like the energy of like chasing in between extremes, or being numb. That's also a sign of a vamping energy or a person that could be a potential vamp. A person looking to be right all the time and not necessarily looking to bring ideas to together. Not looking to bring ideas together, but always looking to be right about something. You know, like being aware, like, oh, I was right about this, so I'm right, like, and I'm the only right person. Like nobody else knows this type of rightness. Like I know this type of rightness. Like even though I know that nobody knows it all in this world, I express things in a manner where I'm the only right person. Everybody else ain't right. I'm the only one. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of, looking to be right all the time. And again, there's a difference between knowing you're right all the time from a subjective matter or manner, in the sense of like, yeah, I create my reality with what I believe, so all the things that I do or believe that, is in alignment is right for me, you know what I'm saying? Like on a deeper, like more so subjective perspective. But again, like this is speaking to like again a vamping energy of like that person is just always like, it's duck season or rabbit season. You know what I'm saying? Like a God is always like that type of energy when dealing with that person where every time y'all, you share insight, it's like they're always looking to be right about it though, and to kind of in essence show how, whether they do it passive aggressively where they don't say you're wrong, they just try to find ways to say, well, yeah, my perspective is the right one, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know. And again, well, even if I'm expressing objective truth, it's like the objective truth is what it is. I don't have to prove it to you verbally that it's right. It's gonna prove itself right. So whatever's trying to prove something right in this moment is not necessarily something that's looking for truth, but something that's just more so looking for the energy of being right. You know what I'm saying? So you got that perspective as well. Then also, maybe a disassociative person, because again, like realizing this is not just just the narcissist. As a matter of fact, and it's just not just about the inherent vamp. Again, it's the transient vamp. And the transient vamp, all of us have been a transient vamp. You know, all of us done been through something where we going through an energy where if somebody came around us, we wouldn't be uplifting. You know what I'm saying? Like the last thing we would be called would have been uplifting. You know what I'm saying? But uh again, getting back to the being disassociative, you know what I'm saying? So kind of like disassociating, like again, like how I brought up the extreme, you know, like loneliness or disconnection, you know what I'm saying? Also, this person may avoid showing love to others to preserve their own energy. So, say for instance, because again, realizing that thin line with the healthiness of isolation, it's like, all right, being to yourself, for at least the majority of your moments to get that strong understanding. But then at some point, it's like, trusting yourself. Because again, what staying in that uh, by yourself could become is a place of fear. Like isolation could become fear of, interacting with others. And so you went in one place, like again the isolation served a purpose because you learned about yourself, learned what the subconscious was. You learned that I'm not like what my mom and daddy taught me to be, you know what I'm saying? So that isolation served its purpose. But then again, and you start to realize again the balance in everything, you know what I'm saying, is yin and yang, you know what I'm saying? It's polarities, and balancing out those energies. But again, people who may avoid showing love to others to preserve their own energy. Because if you get too, again, that isolation to the point where it could be fear and you're more so isolated out of fear of others instead of, uh, not because it's beneficial, but more so out of fear. Again, are you isolated or meditating because of you loving how it makes you feel, or you loving the way it helps you to align, or are you meditating and isolating because you fearing some shit, you know what I'm saying? Like again, because even again with our spiritual growth, it's like not looking at anything as a means to an end, but doing it fully present in this now moment because it brings, true joy in this now moment. But again, also again, it's a being that's like stingy, uh, and this go back to the trying to be right all the time, but argue for their right for oh no, I'm sorry, argue for their right for self focus. So again, this energy is like I would say like that isolation slash introvert extreme, where again like you so to yourself, you know what I'm saying, like to where everybody outside of you turns into non-player characters. You know what I'm saying? And again, basically, where you feel like I can't interact with nobody because they're gonna take my energy. And again, that goes to that trust and that paranoia vibe. That lack of trust and paranoia that plays into the same energy. Again, of like stand to yourself to preserve your own energy as if the whole world is attacking you. But let's see. And another aspect with that energy, more so from the narcissist perspective, saying they are going to leave but don't. They just want attention. So it's like that person, place, a thing, you know what I'm saying? Or more so person, where it's like, oh, I'm going to leave. But are talking about leaving, but they really don't, you know what I'm saying? It's more so, again, like for the attention, and not necessarily because they're about to leave, Are they more so looking for you to beg them to stay, so they could feel love? So they're looking for you to beg them to stay or just any form of attention. And again, you realize that, and I never changed from this perspective. Now, I can't say I hold myself accountable to say that I probably kind of stopped speaking on this perspective because it's probably because I saw the majority, not seeing it how I was seeing it. So I probably, allow for some discouragement to come in and saying this perspective. But again, to say it like I always did, you know what I'm saying? Like with any of like the stuff that we say we're trying to find solutions for, from like, all this like government type of stuff, one simple aspect, is for us to just stop focusing on it. You know what I'm saying? Like take our awareness directly to what we got going on immediately with ourselves, and next thing you know, it won't exist. Like by law. That's the laws of the universe, you know. getting back to the space of, boundaries through knowledge. That's the protection in essence. Again, it's like your protection is understanding yourself. The more you understand yourself and know about yourself, the boundaries are just automatic. Like a person who's trying to confuse you, like that can't even be a problem because you know what's up with you. So it's like, oh, how do I deal with tricksters or confusing people? Understand what's going on inside you that's causing confusion, because that's why they exist outside of you. You know what I'm saying? Or you might like look at the aspect of a trickster energy in general as something bad, because again there is perspectives in uh spiritual talk of like looking at a trickster or a shapeshifter is automatically bad, when some of us do have these abilities, you know what I'm saying? But again, it's how it's expressed. Everything could be expressed positively or negatively, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing in this realm is all good or all bad, you know. So that's a lost perspective within ourselves, is whenever again looking to label something as good or bad, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's all, yes, like uh whatever happening could be negative. It has a negative energy to it, but it's not quote unquote bad. You know what I'm saying? Because again, positive and negative exist in everything, even themselves. So say for instance, positivity has a positive and negative to it, and negativity has a positive and negative aspect to it. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's like the fractal inside the fractal. You know. But again, the boundaries, the knowledge, the knows is how you know. Saying no, setting them healthy boundaries. And again, saying no, like, but not just saying no out of, oh, let me just say no. Like, again, because what'll happen is, it'll seem like, how can I explain it? About it in the sense of thinking that it's just about these certain little guidelines. Where, so let's say for instance, where you're not really getting to know yourself. You're just trying to put up boundaries. You're, matter of fact, if it don't amplify tenfold, we at least say it'll be amplified in the sense of like whatever you call yourself, just trying to set boundaries for without getting to know yourself, and and setting boundaries through the understanding of yourself. All that stuff gonna come rushing in. You know what I'm saying? And seem even more like an attack. Cause another thing, like you neglected it and doing, pushing it to on that level, or again making it seem like it's not an inner work thing, but more so external. So it's gonna, seem that much more like the external is like trying to get you or something like that. But again, the boundaries is through the knowledge itself, being our authentic self unapologetically. And if you don't know, you know, who you are in the authentic sense of, in the authentic sense of it, start focusing on getting to know yourself right now. Like again, like if you don't, then you start right now. Because here it is, we'll look at others for like, oh, they know they could take time for their spiritual growth to do this and do that. But then in that same notion, again, if you got that perspective, looking outside of what somebody ain't doing or doing, then that's definitely, again, you better sweep your porch first instead of worrying about somebody else's porch. Matter of fact, don't sweep your porch only. It ain't about you sweeping nobody else's porch. Sweep your porch. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about nobody else's leaves or none of that. But again, uh, with the boundaries, it's through us being ourselves to the fullest, understanding ourselves to the fullest, and hence why magic is symbolized again through through the moon a lot of times, because our emotional intelligence and our subconscious is that's the deep story of, of our being. Because not only in this lifetime, in this experience, but also in other lifetimes and experiences. So a real deep understanding of self, for the now moment, allows for us to maneuver with confidence. The only reason why I'm not confident because I don't know if I should be doing this or not. If I don't know if I should be doing this or not, that's probably because I don't really know myself good. Because if I knew myself well, I would know that I should do this. Or I would know that I shouldn't do this. So again, it ain't about blaming no trickster or nobody outside of me. That's popping up because because it would be a sign of me not knowing myself better. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily stuff outside me to get me. You know what I'm saying? Again, all life situations play out a certain way due to energy management and energy maintenance. You know, and how well we know ourselves. Again, and that goes back to the shadow work and emotional intelligence. I I should have. I don't know if I don't have a video. It would be either in the eternal health section. So the playlist eternal health. I may have the videos on emotional intelligence and like dealing with yourself emotionally. But for sure on Patreon, I did a video on Patreon like, of like here's steps and you know almost like a classroom version of like here's how to be more emotionally intelligent, or here's some exercises to tap in on that level. You know. 'Cause that's another thing too. I can't blame myself. I mean, I can't blame. I can't blame. Can't blame nobody else for perspectives or things that I'm doing. Cause I just thought about like with doing videos and how it's like I just expressed that, and a little thought popped up to like fully explain shadow work and fully explain emotional intelligence again. But then the other voice was like, no, you done put energy into those videos already. You know, they could go look at those videos if they want to, again, instead of like feeling like, oh, I gotta say it all right now, you know what I'm saying? Again, like that, the overly nice or trying to do it all, you know what I'm saying? Again, it's awareness of self. But that's basically it again. Understanding the way the little things again that play out. It's all internal. And that's the whole aspect, like, so, and it's something that's dope. Like, for those of y'all who watched all of this video or sat through most of this live or just caught key parts of this live, after you turn off this video, probably, shit, for some, might have been as they was watching it, certain stuff started tugging at them. And again, it's not nothing necessarily externally. It's more so of that internal sabotager within that doesn't want you to understand these things, because once you understand it, you'll no longer create, like literally some beings life only exists for a war, if that makes sense. So if you stop warring, they don't exist, like just simply. Because technically, and I even keep it this real as I say that, you know, it all could be seen as quote unquote, warfare, but it's not, again, like it's not warfare from the perspective of maybe I didn't need to explain that because it did. It was like hitting, and then it kind of went away. It'll come back if it meant, but yeah. And again, with esoteric and occult teachings and teachers, you know, it's gonna be paradox. It's gonna seem paradoxical. Because again, there's parity present in esoteric and occult views because it's not focused on being right. You know, the occult and esoteric understanding of spirituality is not focused on being right. Matter of fact, and just like how we said in here, you know, it's like not one side being right or wrong. And realize too, a lot of us are continuously growing, so we may still be having symptoms of some of these things, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't be alarmed if, you know, some of this stuff you seen even yourself doing, you know what I'm saying? It's like it starts first with awareness and you work from there, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't let nobody tell you, oh, it's too late, you know, you were supposed to you were supposed to do this in the full moon 2 years ago, and if you ain't did it in the full moon 2 years ago, you can't do it no more. It's like, man, don't, you know, again, like, don't let, because anything, and that's what you start to realize too, anything other than aligning with doing, you know what I'm saying, is in essence maybe like a distraction to distract you away from, you know, this understanding. But But yeah, again, with esoteric and occult information, it comes off as paradoxical because it's not focused on being right. It's focused on the whole story and how polarity is not wrong or right. You know what I'm saying? Like, neither polarity is wrong or right. You know what I'm saying? So with expressing things, you know, anybody who express things from a occult view, you know, gonna come off paradoxical. You know, in one moment, I tell you, you could drink orange soda to heal a cold. You know, shout out to Bobby Hemmett, drink orange soda to heal a cold, and then the next moment I'm telling you about Dr. Sebi and being healthier. You know what I'm saying? And that's why the focus is so much on yourself. It's like not trying to figure out what's going on with everybody else. Sit and figure, cause that shit'll get all loopy and crazy. It's like, man, let me sit here and just get with myself, understand what I got going on. You know what I'm saying? And tap in on that level. But that's basically it. Flash my little. And as I start to, like, as I wrote this out and stuff like that, I'm gonna be able to help people, you know, help, because I'm not doing anything for a person. A consultation, they're helping themselves. I'm just, a matter of fact, I'm a helper to help them help themselves. But you know, consultation is more based probably in the area of understanding this concept, because I feel like, you know, that's the toughest one for even those who have been on our spiritual growth for a while could still get tested in that area of, you know, of psychic attacks and psychic vampires, and if something outside of me is attacking me, and how to protect myself, and what spell and rituals to do. Oh, and matter of fact, bam, and before I go as well, always sharing, you know, yes, crystals do help. They're helping you internally, you know, first and foremost. So, what crystals came to mind? Now, this not a common crystal, but just from me dealing with it and, you know, seeing the energy of it and seeing how, you know, it's like a power punch to the inner child, you know, area, and healing that area. I would say rhodochrosite, chalcopyrite, and pyrite, like that, all in one specimen. And I've spoke on that and shown that, but that crystal is not a common crystal. But I at least want to share it, because if you do come across somewhere, because I know I got to check back in LA for this crystal. You know, I found it, matter of fact, on my little rock hound and vibes Cause I like to sometimes like get crystals where it's like, all right, this looks like something I never seen, and I don't know what it is. Let me see what it is. You know what I'm saying? Let me get a few of them and research it. Cause that's another thing too. A part of like with new experiences and what I like to do with crystals. You know, for one, being a scientist myself. You know, cause I'm seeing how I feel when I work with turquoise, how I feel when I work with lapis. Like, yes, I see what the books say and stuff like that, but I'm also getting an idea through my own work. You know, like right now I'm working with like with this cinnabar, and I'm seeing like, matter of fact, how it's been helping me work through this Mercury retrograde. You know, having the mental capacity swift and on point without being all in my head. You know what I'm saying, on that level. But I digress. But with the crystals, rhodochrosite by itself, but again, the rhodochrosite chalcopyrite pyrite combination in one specimen, because that's working strongly with that heart and solar plexus area. But rhodochrosite and also rhodonite works well with releasing of traumas. You know, because again, it's a lot of cycling energy, or us keep going through this, you know, martyr and narcissist cycle, you know, these vamping and psychic attack cycles. You know what I'm saying? It has to deal with you know, healing trauma of the past. You know, certain things that continuously triggering a certain situation to play out, triggering a certain emotion and feeling to pop up inside, which is triggering, you know what I'm saying, like a certain situation to play out. Because again, what manifests, like I could sit down and affirm all day, but if I ain't checked down on what triggers me, I could be in the middle of an affirmation and some shit triggers me into being in a certain state of being that denies every affirmation I just said. You know what I'm saying? So showing that yes, the affirmation and all that do help, it just goes deeper into the aspect of understanding ourselves, you know, and seeing what it is that's, you know, triggering that situation. And again, like most of my videos, I dive deeper into it. But again, it's like self love, like in certain aspects of yourself that you're either disliking or pushing to the side or deeming is all bad. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like with our sexual nature, like, you know, like having to understand that sex is not bad, and even you know, the aspect of having desires. You know, like you're gonna desire something in some way, form, or fashion. So just make sure it's in alignment with the highest good for your mind, body, and soul. You know, because again, a person that's in the mountains in the Himalayas meditating by themselves has the desire to do what they're doing. Still a desire, because we hear the word again, the English language, and attachment by association, in the sense of when you hear the word desire, it always kind of thinks of like sexual or lower carnal things. But no, a desire could be something that's seen as spiritual. You know, you could have a desire to go sit in somebody's church, desire to go work with a certain crystal, desire, you know what I'm saying? And what happens is, you know, we try to cut off our sexuality, cut off our desires, cut off, because literally, and what you're doing is you're fighting against yourself. So what happens when you fight against yourself? The other aspect that you're fighting against, be like, hey, since I couldn't speak for myself inside of you, I've manifested as some people, places, and things that's just here to say, hey, bro, stop fighting against us, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Literally, you know what I'm saying? How to play out. So it's like, you know, definitely, again, like tapping into that understanding. It's an internal situation, you know, going on. But as well, working with black obsidian, black tourmaline, also some high vibrational crystals, but you also have to remember to be grounded so you don't be all spacey. But like say for instance, the high vibrations of moldavite and petalite definitely cut through a lot of stagnant energy. Phenakite as well is a good protective energy. Black kyanite, one of my favorite. Hematite, and that's all I got right here. But just to Think of some other crystals that work. Yeah, I would just go with those right there. Now, also though, lapis lazuli just popped up because with a lot, and always brought up lapis lazuli for like empaths with the aspect of setting boundaries. Now realizing though, and see how I even grew, because at one time it was a perspective of setting boundaries more so from just setting boundaries. But it's like, nah, now I realize it ain't just saying, hey, I don't do this or I don't do that. It's actually aligning internally and making sure you don't align with those, thoughts and feelings, you know what I'm saying, on that level, not saying not align with them, but you don't participate in those things. But uh, like with the lapis lazuli, what helps for you to keep it real about what's going on inside of you and be truthful with yourself, you know. And I feel like that's a protection within itself, again, it's like that integrity, because it all, and also, again, the energy of the pyrite that's in it as well is a good combination with, is why lapis is again like a strong protective crystal as well. But again, with the throat chakra perspective, and being able to be truthful, about ourselves on our growth, because that would eliminate, again, like with a lot of the psychic vampire, psychic attack, little cycles and situations. It's like in some way, form, or fashion, somebody not being real with themselves, you know. So lapis would definitely a good crystal as well. Then as far as oils concerned, patchouli is a good oil for grounding and protection. And again, and notice this, and now what's dope is, again, because this videos are like at least my videos, it's like a magical, like a helpful magical spell. Because another thing too, I realized my videos are magical spells for myself. When I get on this on this thing and say these things and speak on these things, and boom, setting in stone, that kind of creates that vibe, like it solidifies, the energy in essence, or it solidifies the awareness. But again, but when I say protection, again, when I talk about the patchouli for protection, now always understanding, you protecting yourself, are you, I want to say you're protecting yourself from yourself, but in essence, again, like a quote unquote protection is more so always look at it as an internal protection. You know, it's an internal thing. It's working on you from the inside. The reason why you protect it from negativity, because you protect it from your internal negative thoughts that attract those negative, those negative people, places, and things. It's not, oh, this crystal has created a barrier around me. You know what I'm saying? Because if that's the case, think about how powerless you are without, again, like, because everybody don't have crystals all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, hence why I love, I'm fascinated by the fact that they actually give off energies and different energies due to molecular structures and stuff, and I could actually feel them as I work with them, stuff like that. But it's definitely having to always keep myself aware to not get lost in the sauce. Like, again, I have my days where I step out with no jewelry on. You know what I'm saying? Like, to solidify that fact of like nothing could harm me. Like, like I'm straight, and if I can't take care of myself without, and what's funny, like, not fun, but was real, like I used to always talk to God like that, like shit, like almost in the sense of like, God, if I'm not protected without having to run no crystal, like if I need to go do all that and I'm not just like powerful by myself, you know what I'm saying? Then fuck, it just must be meant for me to transition. Like it must be meant for me to not, you know what I'm saying? And like literally, kind of like within that conversation, like having that insight of like, well, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you do have that ability without the crystal. You know what I'm saying? Like, so again, the crystals are helpers, but they're not the end all be all. Don't think you're gonna get a piece of tourmaline and now that person is no longer, that person, place, or thing is no longer gonna deal with you. No, like, and again, what makes it worse on you and the crystal, because the crystals have like their own, in essence, their conscious, sentience as well. The crystal stop working, stop helping, because like with any helper, like shit, if I'm helping you and you continuously like not helping yourself, matter of fact, like again, because you become an energy vamp to the crystals, literally. Damn, that's another little bam, little door I just opened right there, in that sense, but the crystals, and, and that's why when you lose certain crystals, oh man, I lost that crystal, probably because you was overworking it. It's like, bro, fuck this shit. Like, they just not seeing it, so I just gotta just shoot out. Like how we be having to do, again, as above, so below, as within, so without. Like certain people we done express, like, all right, I do like this and this and that, and it's like every time you go around, it's as if they didn't hear when you said, It's like, all right, fuck, I'ma just, I just know I gotta leave you alone. I ain't gonna try, cause even that is draining, or in essence bring yourself back into the situation. If you first realize that once that I done told this person something and they don't notice it, then again it's up to you to not go back to that situation. You know what I'm saying? Because anything of you going back, that's all, that's you going back into those situations. But let me finish this part to keep the video precise with the oils. Patchouli, uh, and eucalyptus is two I use, and then also Florida water, and also you can make you like a oil or water elixir with your crystals, where you could either use rose water and Florida water and put some eucalyptus drops in it or some patchouli drops in it, and drop a little piece of tourmaline in it or a little piece of selenite. I had a little all mixed called selenite sauce. You know what I'm saying? Put that on, because your skin is the biggest organ on the body as well, you know what I'm saying? So tapping in, that's why spiritual baths work as well. But again, when you're doing any of this spiritual work, always, that's the true essence. That's the true from this, is always do it from the perspective of working on yourself. Like, detaching yourself from, again, from being a vibrational match to that energy. Because no matter what you want to say of like, oh, they doing this, bro, you gotta be a vibrational match. Like, if that's the situation you in, it's because you are a vibrational match to it. So it's not about, again, because that's what I realized too. Like, you try to displace yourself physically. Like, oh, I'm going to just, since it seems like that's my sister doing this, that, or the third, I'm going to just move myself away from my sister and go over here. And you get over there, and then the neighbor by your house in that area, just like your sister. You know what I'm saying? It's like, fuck, let me move again, or let me, you know what I'm saying? And and then, just realize, like, all right, damn, I got to do some inner work, you know? Most definitely. But yeah, and again, check out the Eternal Help playlist. Again, I'll probably have, not probably have some other different again things that you could apply to help yourself. But again, I done said everything. And I done videos on inner work as well, so that take care of that, But I definitely want to, again, tap in with the psychic vampire and psychic attacks subject matter again, because I also saw how that's one of my most popular videos on this channel. And again, I remember I always understood. Matter of fact, shout out to DMT, because after DMT trip, you no longer could blame people. That's really, honestly, what anchors me into that energy It's like I experienced when DMT show you, and two, it shows you in a manner where you again, like it ain't no. That's what'll make it, in essence, what'll make some people feel like they're going crazy or spooky is because it's that. Hmm. It's like like could Source really present us like you know what I'm saying? Like so, if you're not aware of which, you would have to really not know what you're getting into. Cause I would even say with DMT though, it's like source energy kind of comes in a manner that speaks to you in a manner that allows for you to know to not trip out, you know, and not go. It's like, whoa, 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 you know. I feel like though with that's what like I tell people that's what acid don't have, and that's to me what makes acid could put acid in the area of being dangerous is that it don't have source on the back end letting you know everything's gonna be all right or like kind of like chaperoning the situation. Acid seem like it has less of a chaperone through tough moments or tough insights that you gotta face, and the fact that it also could be used to for mind control and unhealthy programming. So there's always that too. And again, to each his own. That's not to whatever you do, you do it with your own awareness, with your own, because that's another thing too. Everybody's always speaking from their own experiences. So if a person's not expressing, like a right out objective truth, in most cases where it's a perspective, because even the need to feel like, hey, crystals should be the focus, or your subconscious should be the focus, or being aware of whether it's energy vamping or psychic attack, even that's still like, yes, objective truth of yes, these things are things that could help you on your spiritual growth as a whole, but the reason why I'm speaking on it is most likely from what I've been through on my growth, you know what I'm saying? So it's also always being aware with listening to anybody, you know, to have that awareness, But that's basically it. As a matter of fact, and I did this. I don't know. I like doing live videos, and at the same time, though, I didn't want to. I wanted this video to be a video that uh, could be watched with little to no interruption. So that's why I just went in without looking at the messages. As a matter of fact, y'all know what it is. Hitting the like button. Press the little notification bell so you get notified whenever I post videos. Also subscribe. And that's another thing too. Oh, oh, good thing. Matter of fact, shout out to this phone, not cause I used to have to be a back right quick. Well, I used to have to put my phone on I used to have to put my phone on like airplane mode when I do videos or whatever, cause it would make the video click completely off. But yeah, again, notification bell if you want to be notified whenever I post new videos. Uh, Subscribe. Check out the different playlists. I got different playlists that allow for you to get into particular areas. Again, from even down to like having each year of me doing videos into little sections, and again, subconscious programming list, politics list, internal help, to understand your internal help, you know, different forms of it, you know what I'm saying? So definitely want to be aware of that. Again, Instagram, universal frequencies one, no longer universal frequencies. So if you follow me on Instagram, wondering what happened to that page, is long gone. Is universal frequencies one on Instagram. And again, and the same thing on TikTok. Got a little TikTok now. You know what I'm saying? And also, any and all donations greatly appreciated. $ KarlHaynes for Cash App. Any and all donations greatly appreciated. But that's it, man, and just maintaining this, Whoa, man! Look, man! We got a legend up in here, y'all. We got a legend up in here. So it is written. And matter of fact, if y'all in the Texas area, the Sistering, and a few other powerful beings, we're gonna be doing a lecture in Texas, and I know it's gonna be dope. Y'all definitely gotta check that out. Matter of fact, Texas is about to become the new California. I already seen it, cause that's why Elon download. But with Elon Musk bringing this little stuff to Austin, and Austin being like that little, that's gonna be like the new little new age movement area too. So you gotta be aware of that. But definitely, again, like it's gonna be like a little tri-state area: Austin, San Antonio, and Houston, like a big Los Angeles, San Diego type of little. Yeah, all that. But definitely, again, check out Miss Mook channel. So it is written. And yeah, again, like I'm doing my little inner works to make sure. Been again, like, and that's something that's been valuable for me a lot lately, because anybody who know watching my channel, like, being in those high chakras and channeling all kind of, multi-dimensional perspectives, but it's like also, hey, bro, don't forget, bro, you here in your bodysuit here on Earth right now. Now is the vibrate. Don't you say that before every video? Ain't you in one of those meat suits right now? I know you're intergalactical, but the light bill, the light bill due next week. Oh shit, that's real talk though, man. But nah, it's beautiful, and again, like everybody is activating and realizing again, like that shit is a mind thing. You know what I'm saying? Like focus on doing our inner work, tapping in with ourselves, and all that other shit. You know what I'm saying? Outside, whether what's real or not, just do our inner work and do what we're guided to tap into and present. You know what I'm saying? Because for myself, like again, like I had to sit with that insight. And again, another thing developing is sitting with stuff and not just hurrying up and doing a video on some stuff. Is like really sitting there and understanding the dynamics of it. But again, I done dealt with that. Like that's my particular area. Like my soul chose to deal with that dark empath, covert narcissist, martyr, victim, like all that little dynamic, you know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out to the 33 people and the 111 likes. But, like that has been a part of my experience, so that's why, like I became well versed in that insight, you know what I'm saying? But, most definitely. And Miss Mook, yeah, I'm gonna definitely check in. I think when it is November or something like that. But man, I'm grateful for this little build. And I was on some like you gonna present this video. Cause another one I want to do to kind of clear up things too, but it ain't gonna be done right now, cause it's just gonna be drawn out. but it's channeling, and getting into the perspective of channeling, what it is, and how the reason why, again, like certain insight when channeled may come off as not pampering or babyfying our humanity, because it's coming from a perspective or a dimension that doesn't deal with humanity per se, you know but has a more, what's the best way, a more seasoned perspective about life in the universe. You know what I'm saying? You know, but most definitely, y'all. Think I done shared everything. Just making sure. But again, like staying persistent, and I joked about that earlier about dealing with this energy. It's like, like all the unhealthy aspects of our ego. How like we don't get tired. Like that's all you gotta do is stay present in your now moment, and don't get tired, quote unquote, with your spiritual growth. You know what I'm saying? And your awareness of self. You know what I'm saying? Like stay on it, because eventually, again, you got infinite energy, and certain things don't know how to tap into that, so you gotta be with it, you know what I'm saying? Gotta tap in, or stay tapped in. That's basically it, guys. That's basically it. Matter of fact, though, any questions before I go that may have to pertain to this subject matter? Yep, November 26th, Miss Mook, I got, in which I'm following you on social media, but since I'm right here, man. And what's up, Straight Panther? I see you up in here. What's happening, bro? What's happening? Matter of fact, what's up, everybody? So I'm waiting for this question. Cosmic Cherie, Reflection, Mr. West Combs in the building, Piccolo Sun in the building, Entwining Roots in the build I in, Jean or Jean Frazier, Sadiq G, Awakening Your Flow. A bunch of characters that look Chinese, that really look Korean. I mean, that's not the person name. It's actually a bunch of characters in Korean language. Yogi G Ru, Wijanin, 1,000 Pieces. What's happening? Good crystals for energy, again, like the energy vamping situation, and understanding with any of this is more so to work inward. But one I didn't mention though too, that'd be pretty great, that I'm dealing with, is a graphic feldspar. Is what and I'm catching myself. I'm not trying to sell you no bracelets. Well, I just had a me moment. But literally, graphic feldspar is basically smoky quartz in moonstone, because the feldspar that it is basically like regular moonstone. So it's like smoky quartz and moonstone. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure anybody who know a little bit about crystal, doing shadow work, or your witching and warlocking work, smoky quartz and moonstone, like that just sound mystical and magical, but Miss Mook, some other crystals I brought up was Moldavite. Oh, here we go. Moldavite was one of them, and petalite was one of them. Cause like with petalite and moldavite, like it raises your vibration to again, like you would want to be grounded so you're not spacey, but like what moldavite and petalite does, or high vibrational crystals in general, it brings your vibration into a higher state one, so it just makes it tough for you, like so you're in like your inner being is vibrating higher. So technically, again, like the laws of the universe, if I'm vibrating high up in here, ain't nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like, and if something does show up, I'll be able to speak my, whatever is necessary in my high vibrational energy that, bam, have that energy move around. But the Moldavite and Petalite, again, like, real great at picking up the vibration. And I would say Petalite, though, would be the better aspect in the sense of like without Moldavite, uh, like unlike Moldavite, it doesn't need a grounding crystal per se. Like I could work with Petalite and not feel like I'm way up here, but still feel like it's doing the work. And that's probably because Petalite has lithium in it. So it's like it's calming your nerves with the high vibration as well, you know. Because again, it's internal. My nerves calm and I'm in a high vibrational state. I'm gonna be, dealing with myself differently and therefore dealing with my external realm differently. Oh, and again, one I brought up was rhodocrosite. That's probably why you asked to hear about this one too. Rhodocrosite and rhodonite though, because again, whether it's from stemming from shadow work or from the perspective of again like that victim uh martyr relationship or that again the psychic attack vamping situation, rhodocrosite and rhodonite would heal a lot of that. And again, uh that also brings in the insight of like manganese. Rhodocrosite and rhodonite both are pink because they have manganese in it. And as above so below, no coincidence that manganese in your diet actually makes you more empathic and know, just more so like a passionate, empathic energy. And no coincidence though that manganese is antagonist of iron in the body and vice versa. So iron kind of clashes with manganese and manganese clashes with iron, but it makes sense in the sense of like the iron there's more like again with the Mars energy, the strong boundaries, and a little more and somebody asked about that too, like we're working with hematite and rose quartz, would that kind of like cause a clash? And it's like no, it'll actually cause like like a crystal fusion, like off of Steven Universe, like the energies would actually like come together and work together. And I actually did a video speaking on that, like seeing like holding a rose quartz and hematite in your hand, and then also doing a visualization of seeing like a pink light going around your body with the metallic hematite shield going around. And another aspect with that, so hey, borrow the crystals and keep it going. Again, another form of protection in essence is visualizing yourself, again, in a white light, visualizing yourself, bringing your auric field in, you know what I'm saying? Because again, visualizations and your imagination, help as well. But again, like the true meat and essence of why do I keep having these energy vamp situations or these psychic attack situations so close to home? That's a you situation. That's an inner work situation. You could get all these crystals I'm talking about, and that shit won't do it for you. You know what I'm saying? So again, and I realize that's the aspect of being consciously aware, is to be so on your square, so to speak. Where again, it's like as much as I say I'm protecting myself, I also know that I'm not trying to create nothing outside of me, you know what I'm saying, or a situation outside of me to protect myself from, per se, you know what I'm saying? Because again, that's what creates that relationship. The moment that it gets too much to a place of I gotta protect myself from that outside thing, instead of I'm getting this crystal to shift the energy inside of me, which will protect me. You know what I'm saying? Like it is a different, and that's what the English language is just so fucked off in the sense of like you be saying the same thing, but saying two things totally different in essence, you know? It's like here it is. One person say judgment and it mean one thing. Another person say judgment and it means something totally different. When you know what I'm saying? It's like, but again, not going too far on a tangent. You know, again, like visualizing the white light around the body as well would also help. And again, from the perspective when saging yourself, Palo Santo and self from the perspective of cleansing my body, my auric field, you know what I'm saying? Like shaking the little negativities out of me, you know, and not trying to like, oh, let me go sage you up. Because you done seen it before. We probably done this shit before, you know what I'm saying? Like you like light some sage or something, but then go by a person that you feel is being negative or you know his energy you feel is messing with you, quote unquote. Again, that illusion. So you let me sage over there by now, you know. When again, you need to be saging yourself, literally and figuratively. You know what I'm saying? Because again, if you thinking it's somebody else, you the problem automatically. Bam, like literally, you automatically the toxic one when you go to blaming them. You know what I'm saying? Like point blank, period, period. And as I say point blank, period, that's not to say that I'm, you know, right to that, you know, like, oh, what I just said, nobody, you know. No, it ain't, you know. Let's see. Yeah, the again, like Moldavite, definitely, again, it always slice. Moldavite slice and dice. But again, it is a strong energy though, for sure, for sure. But yeah, that's the top crystals. But another one that'd be real good, and as I'm looking at it, Rude Rakshas is not a crystal, but if y'all familiar, go check out the Rude Raksha video I done to get more details from my perspective of the research I done on Rude Rakshas. But Rude Rakshas are known as Shiva tears, and I'm gonna show you, cause I know y'all done seen somebody with it before, other than me or whatever the case may be. But like these are Rude Rakshas, these little beads right here, and they're known as Shiva's tears, but they're real great. Like when I'm wearing Rude Rakshas, like it's literally like I feel like I'm a karate master when I wear Rude Rakshas, if that makes sense. And this is the best way to explain it. Like, in matter of fact, dealing with myself with the energy, it's like with Rude Rakshas, I'm more in a Zen state. You know what I'm saying? Where I could just see it. You know, it's almost like Neo. Like it's like a smooth protection. Or it's just like seeing everything. And, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, but it has like a real soothing energy to it, and my energy field just feels like, you know, like at ease when I'm working with Rude Rakshas. And also Peter's site is real good for the stability of our whole auric field, you know what I'm saying? Like, matter of fact, if I had to name two crystals for the auric field, I would say Petersite and Labradorite is two of the best crystals for healing your auric field. And also Shungite, because Shungite, and literally a crystal is its own little walking universe. Because what Shungite, I remember talking about that. Like Shungite literally is like saying like, hey, I'm detoxifying shit. Ain't no toxins up in here. Like, so when you wearing shungite is letting your inside body, your energy know like, hey, ain't no toxins in here. And as it permeates throughout your being, then your actions start to align with, hey, ain't no toxins. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely through, again, like the biggest thing walk away from this video is like understanding, understanding of self, you know. Cause that's another thing. Ooh, somebody brought up a dope perspective of this too. Cause understanding ourselves. Let's just say me understanding myself is this little place right here, you know. And you see, with understanding myself, see, I automatically got this little protective shield right here. Because this is what, as a soul choosing to come down here, I set this little protective area, you know, for when when I'm being my greatest version of myself and, knowing myself, I got this little protection. But let's just say, I go through something or I get triggered into forgetting who I am and I try to go be way over here. You know what I'm saying? I'm way over here. And that area of protection, my area of protection is right here. And my protection was made for me, though. You know what I'm saying? For me being who I genuinely, truthfully am. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not made for me to be over here trying to be so and so. You know? Because I didn't come down here with so and so protection, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, of course, and let me say this, just like with anything, our spirit guide is gonna look out for us, even when we again trying to go the opposite direction. Spirit guide is gonna find ways to direct you back to this area. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing, is like not so much like that you got full out protection right here. Is more so spirit guides like, bro, get your ass back to being who you are. You know what I'm saying? In that sense of it. So again, that's another little analogy or perspective to look at, as well. But yeah, and again the common ones, but for sure like tourmaline to me is one of the best because tourmaline is piezoelectric. And basically piezoelectric meaning it gives off a electrical charge or surge when it's tapped or touched. And check out the video I did on triboluminescence, because quartz is triboluminescent. It actually creates a cold spark, a cold heat. Yep, golden obsidian or rainbow obsidian is nice. Man, matter of fact, both golden. Matter of fact, shit. Golden obsidian. Matter of fact, I think this one is either rainbow or golden. My bracelet right here. But yeah, golden obsidian is definitely be great because again, another thing too, with visualizing again things around your aura, what'll work good is actual light as well. Matter of fact, with Mook right here in here makes me think of, because I remember seeing Conjure Queen bring it up as well. As far as like using the gold, visualizing the gold around the body. You know. But yeah, golden obsidian definitely would be a fire combination. Cause also, again, remember like black obsidian also has the aspect of, it's and you see that's why it's such a premier crystal. Damn, shout out to that. Cause again, I always brought up how black obsidian is gonna also do what? It's gonna also bring up the shit that that you be trying not to face, and bring it up. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely it's a great shadow work crystal. Again, like the shadow work 1-2 punch is black obsidian and rose quartz on a simple level. Now I keep it real. This rhodocrosite, chalcopyrite, and pyrite combination, which is really, again though, I'm talking about like when the specimen is all in one. So again, it's rhodocrosite, chalcopyrite, pyrite all in one. that's a strong shadow work crystal as well. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna really allow for you to be able to sit with yourself in facing these uncomfortable energies, because it does get uncomfortable because you do have to face a certain aspect of self that you don't want to constantly pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Colombian Night. No, I haven't dealt with that one before. Yeah. Scolecite is also like a great crystal. It's known like as a great mediator. Is a crystal that's like if it seems like crystals would clash in their energies, bringing scolecite into the play would allow for all crystals to it basically like so scolecite is like your miniature you, in the sense of like, say for instance, like when I work with a bunch of crystals, I express like, all right, Bodavite, work here in this area. All right, uh, all right, Cinnabar, work in this area. All right, Turquoise, help with this. You know what I'm saying? Like I do that myself. Align and point out where the energy should be directed. But then again, scolicites help to like mediate. That the differences in the energy and make sure that they're being expressed in a harmonized manner as well. Uh, Matter of fact, what's good books to read with any of this? And just because they right here and they have to deal with understanding yourself. Well, for one, this is a great book. Again, with just like Taming the Drunken Monkey. Real great self-help work. Book, because it also has exercises and stuff in it too. It's like simple, straight to the point, and it literally it's almost like a book, but kind of almost like has like a workbook vibe to it. But not like it's a bunch of little spaces and stuff in it like a workbook like that. But it basically allows for you to have like little exercises and stuff in connection with again, basically is to cultivate mindfulness, you know what I'm saying, and increase concentration. That's a good book. This one I'm still reading, but so far away didn't been going in it. You know what I'm saying? Like speaking on relationships and how the relationships start with self. And matter of fact, and let me see where I even drew around it. Because I like to draw in my books and take notes in my books. Let me see. Oh, damn it. And it's showing it backwards anyway, huh? But it's self-knowledge is the beginning of wisdom. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, Krishnamurti. Again, I'm not that far in it. I ain't even broke it through halfway. But it's been great so far, you know what I'm saying? With self-help books are books that help me to focus on, again, like dealing with myself on a level. I do like to take my time, almost study them. Like I don't necessarily again, like reading a book as a means to an end. Like, oh, I'm knowledgeable because I finished on relationships front to back. You know, it's like I definitely like if I'm gonna sit here and put energy into looking at these words, I definitely want them to genuinely be applicable. Applicable. Look at them big words. Want it to be applicable on my growth, you need. And also, this guy right here, and it done broke all up, but A Man and His Symbols by Carl Jung. Definitely a little great insight to how I, basically dealing with the subconscious and also like the dream realm or the dream perspective. But again, it helped with you understanding yourself because it got a bunch of stories and in fact a bunch of like he got like I like about this book is because it has a bunch of like examples or like hey, this person had this dream and it played out like this da 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 and this is what what I'm saying, like, so definitely some good little literature. But other than that, anything I see on my shelf. That's the main ones per se. But again, it's all the inner work and inner standing of self. Cause that whole little vibe of like, oh, I don't know why this is popping up. That's the whole reason why. It's cause you don't know why. I don't know why. Why would I? And again, with all this being said and done, yes, you're still, again, quote unquote, protecting yourself. It's just from a space where, again, like where you're not demonizing anybody externally. That's the key. And again, remembering the main aspects. You are seeming like you are under psychic attack because you are a vibrational match to the attack. So again, no matter how much you want to blame it on somebody else, you are being a vibrational match to that attack. So that's why it seems like you're being vamped, in that sense of it. And then also another key, remember, is the moment that you get into like when we're talking about these protection crystals and protection, making sure that it doesn't get external at all, I should say. But I'm gonna just say too external. I'm saying? Allow for that to not get too external where it's like, oh, what I'm saying? Like, because then you're creating that situation. And again, once you start to gain awareness of this, just matter of fact, again, just by watching this video, it's going to implement awareness, into your realm. So also being aware to stay in alignment with it, because again, that's the whole name of the thing. Like, you done the inner work and now something comes up. Like, oh, hey, you want to come to the crystal shop with me? I'm about to go get some selenite, man, because I got to protect myself from, and in that moment, you got to either disagree in your head or out loud, but you better do, like, again, like say for instance, when I stop doing this video and if I come across somebody that's like, oh man, these people taking my energy, man, and and bro, I'm just so drained. These people taking my energy. I I got two options, or probably three, but let's just say in a sense of like entertaining it as if that's fact, or keeping it real, like, or hey, I can't relate to that because I don't see people as draining me. Because again, those situations sometimes I realize is word magic. Just by not saying something, you're almost like agreeing to it. So like again, if somebody like say that in your, again, like, oh man, I gotta get this to protect me from so and so, this and that. Like again, or that's why I'm saying, like, oh, so and so draining me, this like that. If they saying all that around you, and you ain't correcting, or put like this, or walking away, either walking away or speaking the truth that you are aware of with the situation, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of basically re-implements that that energy of like, again of like, oh yep, them over there is draining me. Them over there, you know what I'm saying? It is actually going through a certain thought that causes a certain, emotional reaction that causes a feeling of not being uplifted with energy. AKA, I feel like this person is draining me because they triggered me into a state of being that makes me feel like I'm not being uplifted. Boop. Drop the mic. I'm gone. Now's the vibe, bro. Not too far in the future, not too far in the past. Right now. You know what I'm saying? Peace, peace to everybody. Again, remember to hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Press the little notification bell to get notified. Be sure to to share this video with what I'm saying. If you feel like there was insight that people could follow in this video, feel free to share, or what I'm saying, in any way, form, or fashion. You know. But again, yep, that's it. Peace, peace, y'all. And again, with the donations, I have my Cash App underneath the video. Cash App, PayPal, all that. So, yep, it's all greatly appreciated. Now the vibe break. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now. Peace, peace.